Game at Pittodrie this evening, so it's a choice of listening. Stick with FM for the 6 o'clock news followed by the reveal, or on Radio Scotland Extra, the football continues. Full commentary. Willie's promised us goals. Aberdeen against Dundee United. So you have stuck with the football. That is a very good decision. We came on air at midday. We kicked off with a game in Paisley. 1-1, St Mirren against Rangers. Real drama, lots of VAR chat this afternoon. Let's hope there's not too much more this evening and we can focus on what should be a very, very good game of football at Pittodrie. Your commentary team there tonight, Willie Miller, Craig Easton and Liam McLeod.
And a very good evening to you. A dramatic Saturday in the SPFL, as it normally is. Concludes here at Pittodrie in the Granite City under the lights, with the bright green playing surface being illuminated by the Pittodrie floodlights. Both sets of players currently making their way out onto the turf, led by the officials, referee Willie Collum in the middle of his two linesmen, the Aberdeen players in their red strips with the white pinstripes down the front of the shirts. United wearing all black this evening as they look to build on their 4-0 win over Kilmarnock during the week, and indeed their 4-0 success over Aberdeen last month, which was spectacular as they brushed the Dons aside, albeit Aberdeen had a glorious chance through Bojan Mijovski to score the first goal in the game, but they collapsed like a house of cards once United took the lead through Aziz Behich. Tony Watt scored a couple of minutes later before half-time, and it all culminated in that Ross McCrory own goal, which was as calamitous as Aberdeen's second half capitulation was. They've had problems on the road. Here is a very different story for Aberdeen, though. They're looking to win a 6th home game on the bounce, a 5th in the Premiership. They've won 8 of their 9 home matches this season, including 6 in the league. The only exception being the 3-2 defeat to Motherwell here in August. But the defeat at Livingston means they've only won 8 of their last 35 away games, including just 4 in the league. But Pittodrie's been a very different story for them. Dundee United haven't won an away game since beating Livingston in the last 16 of the League Cup at the end of August, yet to win away from home in the Premiership, as Anthony Stewart and Ryan Edwards peel away with the officials. And before kick-off, of course, the nation remembering this weekend the commemorations across the country to honour the service and sacrifice of all those who lost their lives in conflict. It is Remembrance Weekend, and a minute's silence here at Pittodrie. Say it's a very good crowd inside the stadium this evening. They were expecting around 15,000. It's a fantastic away crowd up front, decked out in tangerine and black to the left on the south stand as we look over from the main stand side. Our position, the radio point, is just about midway inside what will be the Aberdeen half in this first half as they shoot from right to left, shooting towards the beach end, Richard Donald stand, end of Pittodrie United, towards the paddock known as the Red Shed these days, the Merklin Road end. And Willie Collum gets the game underway in the final Premiership action before the World Cup is underway, and a long Aberdeen ball finds touch on this near side, and it will be a United throw-in level with the 18-yard line. We heard from Willie Miller just before kick-off. Craig Easton with me as well for this one. Craig, United, such an important result for them the other night against Kilmarnock. It stopped a run of 5 without a victory, and they'd lost 4 on the bounce as well. They were in a slump again, and they've managed to fire themselves with that win against Kilmarnock, as they did against Aberdeen last month at the tail end of a poor run.
That's right, both games with 4 goals in them. You know, you could say that both results were, definitely not expected in terms of their run of form. It was a massive game the other night, and to be 3-0 up, I think it was in 29 minutes, it really settled the nerves, the early goals, and I think that's what you're looking at in the early part of this game. How are Dundee United going to start the game? Are they going to start with that confidence that they're taking from the other night? Are they going to try and play in the front foot and try and start the game well? When they do tend to start the game well, Dundee United are in every game. When they don't, when they go a goal behind, that's when you can see them really struggle this season.
Long ball by Liam Smith looking for Fletcher, headed away by McCrory. And the clearance completed by Matty Kennedy, who comes into the starting 11 for Aberdeen tonight after an impressive cameo Slovenian on Tuesday. Albeit Aberdeen lost the match as the Dons get a free kick midway inside their own half. And Willie Miller, you've watched enough of Aberdeen this season to know that even here at Pittodrie, they've not starting games in the right manner. They'll be hoping that they're able to get out of the blocks quicker today.
Yeah, they prefer to, start slowly, build up from the back, whether that's the right tactic or not, even at home. Certainly wasn't against Livingston in my book anyway. They do score goals at home. It is exciting football that they play, but they do lose goals as well. I think that's an area that Jim Goodwin addressed after the game at Livingston and suggested that he might do a bit of work on it during the break. I think it's required.
2 minutes in, then goalless. Stewart goes back to Roos. The Aberdeen goalkeeper takes a touch away from his penalty spot and smashes it forward into the United half. The header won by Miovski. Couldn't find Duke, cleared by Liam Smith out to the far side. Kennedy gets his head onto it, drives after it, but calmly dealt with by Ross Graham, who finds Bajic. He goes back to Ross Graham, who's found himself back in the team recently and has actually looked pretty assured in doing so as well, Craig, as Stewart plays it back to his keeper again.
Yeah, he did well the other night, and it's good to see him back in the team. I think he went through a tough spell early in the season, and so did a lot of the Dundee United defenders. I mean, they were really struggling back there. It was probably the right thing for him to come out of the team, get his confidence back again, and it looks like he played well the other night. We started well here again tonight.
Late challenge by Coulson there on Freeman on this near side. The ball went forward. Willie Collum waiting to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't, so United have a free kick midway inside their own half, about 6 yards from the near side touchline. The two managers down there, Jim Goodwin to the right, arms folded. Liam Fox, the more training ground look with the tracksuit top on. Jim Goodwin looks like he's ready for a night out. Well, maybe he is, maybe he's heading straight out after this, as Birighitti prepares to take the free kick on this near side.
And why not? Particularly if he gets a good result, eh?
Exactly. Birighitti will hit it with the right foot for United. Long balls, perfect conditions for the game, you would have to say. It's very mild for this time of year, as Levitt gets a touch onto it. It's right through to McCrory though, and he was back to Kelleroos. Still in Levitt and Aziz Bajic off to Qatar with their respective countries. Almost 4 in, 0-0 here. Still in the very early stages at Pittodrie as Roos hits it long, looking for Duke, beaten in the air by Smith. Clarkson's header forward. Duke gets something onto it. Coulson chases, and Freeman takes no chances and dumps it onto the roof of the main stand off to our left.
There's nothing in the early exchanges, Wayman. I was just talking to Willie before the game, and I think you were going to just say what I was saying. Willie was saying that Aberdeen were trying to play out the back, against Livingston, and now, the goalkeeper's Roosie's kicked it 3 times there, and they've went long looking for a win in that second ball, trying to play in the opposition half, and I think that's the way they've got to be. Tonight, that's the way both teams have got to be. Try and start the game well, play in each other's halves. Listen, there'll be lots of time later on in the game when it settles down to go and play some football.
Dundee United, remember, rock bottom of the table just now. A win would take them above Kilmarnock at the foot of the Premiership, despite Kelly's very good, very timely win over Hibernian earlier on today. Aberdeen a point behind Livingston now in third coming into this one. A draw would be enough for Aberdeen to be third going into the break. United clearing up towards halfway. Stewart's underneath it. He pumps the right foot ball down the left-hand side. Liam Smith just shepherds it behind, and that will be a throw-in. Not really much to speak of in the opening 5 minutes here. Aberdeen 0, Dundee United 0.
No, not yet. Both sides are adopting the same shape, actually. Maybe United a little bit different with the 3 up top, and Aberdeen really just having the 2. So, Aberdeen should have numbers in the midfield area, an area that they would hope to dominate. So, slightly different, but both playing with the 3 at the back. And Liam, this is a new norm, by the way, at Pittodrie, weather-wise. It was the same on Saturday when Hibs were up. It's brilliant for a game of football.
Ramadani's given it straight to Middleton, though. It goes back to Baich, midway inside the Aberdeen half on the far side. Levitt out to Middleton, takes a touch, left foot cross is decent, comes right through that corridor of uncertainty around about the 6-yard line. Beats everyone though. Stephen Fletcher with the thumbs up in appreciation of the attempt there from Middleton over on the far side. That all coming from Ramadani, giving the ball away in midfield.
Yeah, and then Dundee United just pouncing on at Middleton, driving with the ball, playing it wide, bit hitched with the cross. And you know what? Liam Scales did really well there. He just used his body. Stephen Fletcher was trying to make that run across the front of him. He didn't allow him. He just used his body, and the ball bounced harmlessly wide. But it was a good ball in, and it'll be interesting to see what both teams do from wide areas, especially, you know, Jim Goodwin saying pre-match there about Matty Kennedy coming in, Hayden Coulson. They want to try and exploit that at home. Dundee United down this side, they've got Kieran Freeman, and on the other side as he's Baich on the left. They'll be looking for crosses in as well.
Aberdeen in possession with Kennedy, rolling it back to McCrory. He was hooked at half-time against Livingston. It's now with the skipper Stewart, and he rolls it along the grass out to Scales on the near side, and he passes it back to Anthony Stewart. It's a side foot ball to his right for McCrory, and then out to the touchline for Kennedy. First time back to McCrory, and then infield to Stewart. Really nothing to speak of in these early exchanges in the game. And that goes out to Kennedy on the far side. He's chipped it forward looking for Miovski. It's an ambitious ball though. Graham gets there first. He's done well. First time ball finds Levitt, who finds Edwards. Back out to Levitt on the far side and up towards the halfway line for United, and Middleton switches the play left to right to this near side. Smith out here to Freeman, challenged by Coulson, but it breaks Liam Smith's way, and he rolls it back into his own half, right of the centre circle for Edwards. Plays it into it for the Welshman Levitt, who finds long-time Aberdeen target Jamie McGrath, and Smith moves it back to Levitt, and then in field for Craig Sibbald in the centre circle. Low ball along the halfway line to that left-hand side for Ross Graham. Short ball in field to Sibbald. United enjoying some good possession here and inside Aberdeen territory. Approaching 8 minutes. Poor ball by McGrath. He's given it straight to Duke, who there drives forward down this near side. Pinched back by McGrath though, who scored against Aberdeen his first United goal. Of course it would come against the team he's been linked with, as he popped his penalty past Kellaroos in front of watching Jim Goodwin, who's of course back in the technical area this evening, having served his ban eventually. As it breaks down for United, it's picked up by Kennedy over on the far side, and he shifts it back to Roos. 8 and a bit minutes in, Aberdeen 0, United 0.
I mean, personally, I think the Aberdeen got to try to take advantage of the midfield. They've definitely got an extra man in there. So far, they're not using it particularly well. In fact, it's United that are finding that their 2 versus a 3 in there are seeing more of the ball.
It's with Liam Scales, long ball, looking for Duke in between 2 United defenders. It's headed away, only onto the chest of Miovski though. Turns it out wide left for Coulson, takes a touch, left foot ball comes in, blocked inside the area by Smith. Clarkson keeps it alive out on this left-hand side down by the corner flag, plays it off Freeman, and out for an Aberdeen throw-in about level with the United penalty spot on this near side. Goalless, 9 in.
I think the Aberdeen midfield of, you've got Connor Barn and Ramadani in there. They're sort of the ones that are they're sitting a bit deeper, Willie, and it looks like they're sitting a bit deeper just to keep an eye on Jamie McGrath and Glenn Middleton, who like to drop into those holes in between the lines, and I think that's sort of what they're that's why they're not probably going up against Craig Sibbald and Dylan Levin. That's why they're getting a little bit more space. But you're right, it is they have to try and maybe get up on the game a little bit and make use of that extra man.
Aberdeen have a cross ball into the box. Miovski heads it back to Barron. First real touch of the ball for Connor Barron. Rolls it out short, out wide right there for Kennedy. Couple of step overs, wins the corner, does he? No, it's kept in play. There was a brief shout for a handball, and it has eventually gone behind for Aberdeen's first corner of the piece. They're approaching half-time incidentally at Ochil View. Still 1-0 Cali Thistle. Billy Mackay with the only goal against Queen's Park in the Championship. As Aberdeen pick up their corner over on that right-hand side, it will be Kennedy to take right in front of that busy visiting support section over in the far side in the south stand. And there'll be an out-swinging corner here by Kennedy. 10 in, 0-0. Aberdeen's first real feel of the final third really in this match. Kennedy takes it, and it comes. It's Scales getting something onto it. Comes to the edge of the box for Barron. Barron tries to loft it back into the area. It's the wrong decision because it's beaten everyone and harmlessly goes behind for a United goal kick to the right of the goal frame, and it remains Aberdeen 0, Dundee United 0.
He's got to do better there, and he is better than that, Conor Barron. His use of the ball is usually immaculate, to be perfectly honest, but he had plenty of time there. I think it crossed his mind to have the strike at goal, and then he decided to cross it into the box. If he just dinks it in there, he's got the three centre backs up. You've got to try and allow them to go and attack it, overhit it. And it was a good bit of pressure from Aberdeen, the first pressure of the game, and it was rather wasted.
Long ball then by Birighitti. It's headed back into the midfield. It'll break United's way here with McGrath, but he's lost out to Leighton Clarkson, who pushes it out wide left here for Coulson. Just inside his own half, finds Duke, who's midway inside United territory. Forced back the way, but he moves it infield to Ramadani. He steps away from McGrath, forward to Miovski. Miovski is the ball taken off him. There were two defenders bullying the North Macedonian, but he's done well to win it back. Finds Ramadani, who shifts it wide right for Kennedy. Kennedy over on that far side. Back to McCrory. He's about level with the edge of the centre circle in the United half. Works a 1-2, gets it back from Barron and shifts it right to left of the centre circle for Scales. Scales then low ball out to Coulson on this near side. Coulson back to Scales. Scales into the centre circle for Stewart. Right foot, side foot ball forward for Barron. Barron then goes for, I'm not sure what he was doing, cross, shot. Anyway, it's gone wide of the left hand post this time, and it stays Aberdeen 0, United 0 on 12 minutes.
Yeah, the cross come shot, whatever it was from Conor Barron, wasn't great, but I like the way he found that bit of space. Ramadani seems to have been the one that's been tasked with being deeper. Now Conor Barron's trying to give Dylan Levitt a wee problem in that wee hole, and that he received the ball there in the half turn and tried to do something with it. That's where you want him to be receiving it, but his execution wasn't great. But in terms of Aberdeen getting up on top of the United midfield, that was a lot better.
Here comes Kennedy, good 1-2 with Ramadani. Kennedy bursting forward down the right hand side. He's found Miovski. Miovski's level with the 18 now, looks up at the United box. His cross takes a deflection. Clarkson back to Kennedy, and he lashes one high over the bar. Real opportunity, first real opportunity for Aberdeen in the game, and it ends up in the Richard Donald stand, and it stays Aberdeen 0, United 0, almost on 13.
He's got to do much better than that, Matty Kennedy. He finds himself probably in an unusual position, just outside the box. I mean, Clarkson, it was an intelligent layoff from Clarkson. He's laid it on a plate for him, just outside the box. Got to get the head over it, he's got to drill it, he's got to keep it within the sticks, to be perfectly honest. He balloons it way over the bar. Big opportunity in my book. Wasted.
It was sitting up nice from Willie. It actually bounced up. It's one of those ones where it bounces up and you actually could be able to get over the top of it, get the dip on it. The execution was really poor there.
Free kick Aberdeen, midway inside their own half. A push by Fletcher on Stewart. 4-0 win at Tannadice for United was their biggest one over Aberdeen in 23 and a half years. They won 4-0 here. Craig Easton played in the game. Billy Dodd scored a couple, one each from Joe Miller and Shale Olafson. Nigel Pepper, who Aberdeen fans might remember, came on 1 minute, it was sent off the next. It was an Aberdeen team which was being led by United legend Paul Hegarty. How much do you remember of that game?
Yeah, I remember a few games up here, and we were talking about it, Liam. I always managed to somehow get on the score sheet a few times against Aberdeen. I know you're not too happy with bringing that up again, but no, listen, we had some great games up here against Aberdeen and also at Tannadice as well. They seem to be a kind of team that we like playing at that point of time, and obviously Paul Hegarty taking over in the dugout. He was a United legend as well,
He was a United legend, one of the United legends. And it will be a free kick to the visitors, which Birigitti's going to take round about the edge of his own penalty area. This is a fixture over the years in the glory days of these two clubs that was generally, I think Willie would admit, the away team always seemed to do better in for some reason.
Yeah, that was probably correct, but it was two teams that were basking in glory really in European football as well. We've got to remember some of the results that United got without winning, and reaching a final too is just was magnificent. So it was always keenly contested, absolutely.
Ramadani's header, now Kennedy controls it midway inside his own half and rolls it back to Roos along what looks like a very nice playing surface. I think both sets of players enjoying that. 15 minutes in, 0-0. It's been a relatively cagey opening by both teams, I think it's fair to say, neither giving too much away. Aberdeen probably with the best chance of the game so far as Kennedy ballooned one over the United crossbar as Clarkson turns it infield to Stewart, and he looks up at the pitch ahead of him and finds McCrory to his right. Short ball to Barron, and then out to Kennedy on the far side. Aberdeen probably see more of the ball right now. United keeping them at arm's length so far. Ramadani goes back to Barron, and out wide right for Ross McCrory.
Liam, they did Hibs, and they didn't see that much of the ball, to be perfectly honest. You know, the stats were pretty much on the Hibs side in terms of possession, but they were lethal in front of goal.
You know, and I think it's understandable, KJ, as well, because, you know, if you think about it, when Aberdeen were down at Tannadice, it was the game ran away from them very quickly. They've obviously watched Dundee United do the same to Kilmarnock midweek, where I think it was 2 long balls and there was two goals really quite early on. The other one was a free kick, and it was 3-0 to Dundee United before half time. So you can understand why both teams are wanting to stay in this game as long as possible. And any time Dundee United have gone behind, as I mentioned, they have struggled.
So have Aberdeen. They've only once come from behind this season, and even then they lost. That was to Motherwell here. So when they go behind, they generally don't come back. Both teams struggling that way as Ramadani comes bursting forward, looking for Miovski, but it's a dreadful ball, and it goes all the way through to Birighitti, who'll let it go behind for the goal kick. 16 and a half goalless minutes in here at Pittodrie. And final Premiership action for just over a month, with the World Cup starting a week tomorrow, isn't it? As just double checking the Championship, where at half-time it is Queen's Park 0, Cali Thistle 1. Billy Mackay with the goal. That would be a massive win for Inverness if they can find it. Queen's Park are sitting just a point behind them going into that match this evening as well. And that bunched up Championship, it's bunched up from 3rd down in the Premiership. As Birighitti hits it forward, it comes off the head of McCrory into the midfield. Sibbald has it forward, trying to feed it through there for Middleton. It's cut out, it breaks Fletcher's way, gets there ahead of Barron, and as well turns it out wide left for Bajic, long with the left foot. McCrory with the header forward, flicked on by Ramadani, and then it breaks Fletcher's way, leaves it for McGrath. McGrath now trying to attack the left hand side, the Aberdeen right, back in field to Levitt to find Sibbald. The only change to the United team saw Sibbald come into the team, with Doom sitting among the subs this evening. It's Craig Sibbald on the far side, plenty energy, maybe that's what he's going for, as that's moved back the way to Graham, who chips it forward, but McCrory's underneath it and heads it up the line, where Miovski gives it straight back to United, and with Levitt back to his skipper Ryan Edwards. Low ball to the right of the centre circle. Middleton in the Aberdeen half, rolling it out wide right. Freeman level with the 18-yard line. Freeman short to Middleton, he's got a runner in field in Liam Smith, he might get there. Coulson with a challenge, slides in, look good from where we are, plenty of the ball taken, and Aberdeen clear their lines. But that was positive and promising build-up play by Dundee United.
Positive, patient build-up, good passes, nice little crisp one from Ryan Edwards out to the right here, and then a really good tackle from Hayden Coulson. He had to get that one right. Well, you'd be happy with that, because the timing was perfect on it. If he didn't, I think Liam Smith was going down on the box for a penalty. But it was an excellent timed challenge.
Here's Middleton turning. Ramadani's at the edge of the box, he shoots, it's deflected, and it goes wide of the left-hand post. Keller Roos wasn't diving for that one, he was utterly rooted, cement in his boots there, Willie. If that's on target, it's a goal.
Yeah,
it stays 0-0, United's first corner of the evening.
I think it just slips past, doesn't it? Takes a wicked deflection. I think it's Ramadani, is it, that gets his body in front of it. You know, it's Greg Middleton goes from wide right across the face and pulls that the trigger with the left foot, and it takes that deflection. And you're right, Roos is going to his left, nowhere near it. If that is on target, it's a goal.
19 and a half in, goalless. Dundee United's first corner of the evening. In swinger from that United left, and on top of the Aberdeen defence from McGrath to the back post, flicked away by Scales, gets there ahead of Edwards, who scored here in the Scottish Cup a couple of seasons ago. Scored the opening goal in a 3-0 United win, as Edwards tries to turn it back into the box. It's blocked, but Levitt wins it off Ramadani. It's Levitt jinking on to the right, it comes off Barron, breaks favourably for Anthony Stewart, and Aberdeen get it away. It stays 0-0. United threatening here.
A little bit of hesitation in the box between two Aberdeen players. Dylan Levitt danced inside. I thought he should have maybe pulled the trigger with his left foot. He was always trying to get it onto his right, and I think he maybe could have just hit one with his left, maybe tried to curl one, or even driven it through a ruck of bodies. But, you know, a little bit indecision and a little moment there, almost what Dundee United done.
United haven't won an away league game since the final day of last season, which was at Ross County, as they come forward with Liam Smith. It's a long ball looking for Fletcher, cut out, and then breaks Kennedy's way. Fletcher tries to win it back off him, but it comes off the big striker last and out for an Aberdeen throw-in, level with their penalty spot over in the south stand side. McCrory over the throw. We played 20 and a half goalless minutes here at Pittodrie. Willie, how are you reading the game as we approach the end of the first quarter of it?
I think United have had the better of it, to be perfectly honest. You know, they look, their shape looks good, they're zipping the ball about, the passing has been pretty accurate for most of the time. Neither team have really excited in front of goal. Maybe that deflection was as excited as we've been, and that was for the away side. So I think Aberdeen's got a lot to do. I think if they're trying to play it at the back, they've got to be a little bit more sharp, and I think they've got to use that midfield. They have got an extra body in there.
Great play by Coulson's away from Freeman. Then Liam Smith comes out, saw the danger, and slides the ball out for an Aberdeen throw-in, level with the United penalty spot on this main stand side, the Aberdeen left. And it will be Coulson to take. They've had serious issues, home and away, starting games, Aberdeen, as Clarkson gets it, crosses the ball into the box, headed away conclusively by Edwards. Cushion header by Ramadani to the right of the centre circle for McCrory, who moves it back to Stewart, and he shifts it short to Scales. Everyone bar Keller, who's just about in the United half all of a sudden. Stewart out to McCrory on the right, stepping forward at pace, rolling it to Kennedy. He's on the touchline in front of the United supporters. Goes back facing his own goal and passes it back into his own half for Stewart, who finds Scales. Short ball to Clarkson, and first time he rolls it along the deck back to Stewart, who looks up again. It's low, but he's given it straight to Sybil. Now it's Fletcher's given it away. McGrath trying to redeem the situation, but it's won back by Sybil again, who Willie Collum didn't like the challenge, comes over and gives Aberdeen the free kick.
I think it was for Jamie McGrath's one.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, Craig Sybil's challenge was pretty good there. It was Jamie McGrath's was just slightly late, but ball bouncing about in that midfield area. Aberdeen are starting to get onto them a wee bit more. But the one thing that's a little bit more positive for Dundee United in terms of their defending is any balls that have come in the box. Ryan Edwards, he said, headed it conclusively. Ross Graham's had a couple of headers, and Liam Smith's covered his fullback. So from a defensive prospect, Liam Fox has got to be happier with how they're defending. They're not losing as many games as they were at the early part of the season, and they look a bit more solid.
Kennedy over the free kick. They lost 7 and 9 in two separate matches early in the season, didn't they? As Kennedy puts the free kick to the edge of the box easily away. Barron goes from about 25-30 yards and goes high over the bar. Harmless enough, and that's a goal kick to United. Yeah, it kind of looks, Willie, as though Aberdeen, if they want to score from open play tonight, they're going to have to try and bypass that back three in Smith and in particular Edwards and Graham, who are winning absolutely everything that's coming at them from above.
Yeah, I think they've got to work harder, in terms of trying to cause United a problem or two. You've got Kennedy, you've got Coulson, but United have got the two wing backs as well, so if they can dominate, and they have done, and Kennedy's looked a little bit more adventurous than Coulson, but these two are so important. And where is Duke, the man that usually ignites the home crowd? We haven't seen anything of him at all, have we? He's not been in the game, so still a lot of work to do for the home side. I think United can, as Craig said, they've looked very, very, very comfortable defending.
As an away team, they've got to be happy, even though they haven't scored. Aberdeen have been taking a while to build into games, not just away from home, even against Hibs here a week yesterday. The penalty coming just before half-time is what ignited them. Our games here against St Mirren and Livingston, where they didn't necessarily start well, but yet ended up running amok, albeit against 10 men on those two occasions. And Scales goes back to his goalkeeper, but it is 8 wins out of 9 here at Pittodrie this season. The only game they haven't won was the Motherwell topsy-turvy affair, 3-2 to the Steelmen, as Ramadani picks up deep inside his own half and he rolls it back to Stewart. But this is certainly a fixture United have enjoyed in recent times. Just one defeat in 8 came in the opening day of last season here. Aberdeen won 2-0, but the other 7 have been either drawn or gone United's way as that long ball comes through. Freeman gets there, had to, Clarkson's in behind them. United pick up over on that left-hand side with Baich, who hooks it over his head up to halfway, and he's found Fletcher as well. Really good control by Stephen Fletcher. Rolls it short there to McGrath, who goes back down the line for Baich.
He's a great target, Liam.
Always has
Stephen
been.
Fletcher, yeah, and you always see him when the ball's out wide, he's always a striker that's in the box. He's always thinking about goals. He's allowing Glenn Middleton, he's allowing Jamie McGrath. You can go and do the little bits of work either side of me. You can drop into those holes. You can maybe, you know, even if I'm going up for a header, can you run beyond me? That's what Dundee United have got to build on. And Stephen Fletcher's integral to that.
0-0, 25.5 on the clock. Just two opportunities really to speak of. Kennedy shooting over for Aberdeen. Middleton's deflected shot going behind for the corner. That apart, it's been relatively stodgy, but United looking the more assured in the game. And they've got a throw-in over on the far side, just inside the Aberdeen half, to be taken by Ross Graham. United number 6, who emerged in Tangerine last season after a loan spell at Dunfermline. As Middleton takes over on the near side, plays it short to Freeman on the touchline. Back in field to Glenn Middleton. Clarkson nipping at him, plays it short to Sibbald. Sibbald then, he was looking for McGrath, he can't find him, misunderstanding. Kennedy will pick up for Aberdeen, chips it forward, looking to get it into the path of McCrory, who does get the break of the ball against Graham. Foul by McGrath, free kick Aberdeen, level with the edge of the centre circle in the United half. 0-0.
What a bit of a loose pass there from Craig Sibbald, and I think was it Ross McCrory charging up there? Willie?
Yeah, it was Ross, yeah.
It was almost Ross Graham almost take him out, and it was Beattie to go back and committed the foul just to stop the Aberdeen counter-attack. But I just think the way that Dundee United are setting up, they're making it really difficult for Aberdeen to play through them. So they're having to either go long or wide, where Dundee United are just shuffling across the park and allowing no balls through them into the centre of the field. You just see at the moment it's on the right hand side.
Kennedy down the right up against BH. Short ball back to Barron. Barron in the midfield, plays it to Liam Scales. And then it's shifted out to Coulson wide in the left, level with the edge of the D of the United box now on this left hand side. Coulson, little short ball to Clarkson, gets it back to Coulson, took one touch too many and cleared by Sibbald. Probably should have just shot with a left peg when he was in the penalty area there. Instead he tried to move it onto his right, and that allowed United to get it away.
It was overplay, it was overkill, wasn't it? You know, Coulson did really well, and he is a force going forward. Not too sure about him defensively, but going forward he is creative, and he's created a good opportunity for himself there, and in a tight situation he tried the little flick to open it up, and he's actually taken it onto his right foot as well by doing that. I think he just hit it, go there with a left foot, put the laces through it. It's a good opportunity for him, and he didn't take it.
It was a lovely little ball as well to him, wasn't it, from Clarkson. It's United clear again into the midfield. Middleton with a header up into there, it goes, but it's going to bounce around. Eventually Scales does well to nod it to Clarkson, flicks it forward looking for Duke, who's not been in the game at all. You suspect he will be at some point. It's United clear through Freeman. Cushion header forward by Stewart. Barron gets onto it. It's back to Clarkson. Barron went down under the challenge of Sibbald. Aberdeen emerged with the ball anyway. 28 on the clock, 0-0. As that's moved out to Kennedy. Kennedy gets the overlap from McCrory if he wants him, and that's what he's tried to do. Showed too much of it to Bates. She slides in and puts it out for a throw-in over on the far side for Aberdeen, level with the United penalty spot.
You know, that's what Craig Sibbald brings to Dundee United. Those little second balls, those little ones that he just nicks in front of people. He's quite clever at how he reads the game, and I think that's why he's in the team. Liam Fox got him back in the team as soon as he took over, and he's really kind of helping other players round about him. I think Dylan Levitt plays better alongside Craig Sibbald.
Long throw-in coming up here. Coulson's gone over to the right to take it, and it comes towards Stewart, but he's beaten in the jump by Fletcher. Comes off the head of Ramadani. He won it ahead of McGrath. It's now with Ramadani again. Hooks it into the box. High ball headed away by Edwards. Ramadani heading it towards the 18-yard line, and then Edwards commands his defence and heads the ball all the way into the Aberdeen half, where it's collected by McCrory. He was the man who scored the 4th United goal 5 weeks ago tonight. He headed past the stricken goalkeeper. Aberdeen eventually taken to the cleaners. And that's been a big issue on the road for Jim Goodwin this season. The defeats, when they have gone behind, they've surrendered meekly. And you think of Tannadice, Easter Road, Ibrox. And Stewart collects right of the centre circle. Right to left of it now for Scales. Low ball out to Kennedy on the left-hand side. Skips infield away from Freeman. It's Kennedy, reverse ball, lovely back heel by Clarkson, gets it back from Duke. Clarkson's in the box, plays it across, it's cut out. What a goal that would have been. Leighton Clarkson showing some real class this evening as he interchanged with Duke, but it breaks down. United clear and it stays 0-0 after half an hour.
A lovely little flick into his path, and that's twice going down the left hand side that Aberdeen have looked a bit more of a threat, Willie. I think they've just, Kieran Freeman, they're going man to man with Kieran Freeman. They'll come inside the pitch, they're trying to link with their strikers, and little flicks round the corner, little 1-2s, and it's opening things up a little bit.
Up the other end, Middleton finds Smith, level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line, crosses in, it's a deep delivery, flicked half away. BH takes it down, left hand side of the Aberdeen box, plays it back towards the penalty spot, and it's clear by Ramadani, but it's not decisive. It's at the edge of the box with Levitt, whose efforts charge down and out for the United throw-in on this near side. Aberdeen, before this weekend, sitting third, Dundee United bottom, but there's absolutely nothing between them on that pitch.
No, in fact, I think slightly ahead would be the away side. That was another good attack from them. A little bit of miscommunication. I think Coulson's actually got to speak to Ross McCrory there as McCrory, gets a touch on it and it falls for BH. Nothing came of it, fortunately, but a little bit more communication required.
McGrath's touch takes it to Miovski, another who's been on the periphery of things. Duke loses out, brings down Smith. Willie Collum is on site. In fact, it's going the other way. It's going to be an Aberdeen free kick just outside the centre circle, and Willie Collum having a word with Liam Smith, who's protesting his innocence. The second half underway, incidentally, at Ochil View, Queen's Park 0, Cali Thistle 1, 5:30 kick-off in the Championship. After another dramatic day in that division, Greenock Morton with a 2-1 win over Partick Thistle that took them back to within 3 points of the leaders Ayr United. Fascinating division, that one, and we await next week's action. Of course, the Championship Leagues 1 and 2 continue during the World Cup break. There's also the Scottish Cup third round, and BBC Sports Scotland will have all of that covered for you over the World Cup break, as Scales pokes it out to Coulson on this near side. Sports Sound here, BBC Radio Scotland Extra, online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, and on 810 medium wave. The last Premiership match before the break, 0-0 between Aberdeen and United, as Clarkson comes down the left to the byline, passing it back into the box. It's gone straight to Sibbald. He's done a good job tonight. You can see why he's in the team. 32.5 in, it is goalless. Here down the left, the right goes Glenn Middleton. And it's won back well, a combination of Stewart and Ramadani. Ramadani plays it forward, but Clarkson slips, I think, there as he tried to control the ball, and it goes out for a United throw in on this near side.
It's a little bit too hard to pass as well, isn't it? A difficult one for Clarkson to get onto. And Ramadani did really well there, covering his centre back, although Stewart, I think, had it covered. As Middleton was trying to burst forward, but the pass forward was just overhit.
That's what he's in the team for there, Willie, because as you see when Coulson goes forward and he leaves that gap in behind him, the fullback there, and and that's what Middleton's trying to exploit. Ramadani's getting himself across, he's getting himself back in there, and then a centre half's coming out and they're almost doubling up. So it's good play for Ramadani, and it's allowing Jim Goodwin to keep his fullbacks higher, and it'd be more be more positive in the United half.
There's Kennedy moving it infield to Barron. Back to Kennedy on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the centre circle. He goes back to Scales. 33.5 on the clock. No goals. Jim Goodwin demanding more from his team down there. Here's Coulson picking up wide on the left. He's now heading to the byline. It's the cross ball in. Met by Barron, but there was a defender in the way as well. And United eventually spoon it clear through Ryan Edwards. It comes off the head of Fletcher in the midfield, and he manages to cushion it back unchallenged as Jamie McGrath. And now it's Freeman who rolls it out to Middleton on this near side. One back by Clarkson, but the break of the ball favours McGrath, who hits it long looking for Stephen Fletcher. Fletcher driving down the left hand side. He's on his own at the moment. McCrory trying to close him down. United have players flooding into the Aberdeen box. Fletcher goes back the way, low ball to Sibbald. Sibbald level with the edge of the D, turns it infield to Levitt, squares it to Middleton, first time ball. But the offside flag goes up, but Aberdeen have an advantage. They're in possession with Miovski. Gets it round Graham, driving forward. He's got Duke ahead of him. Plays it to Duke, who's in. It's not a great first touch. Out comes Menegiti. Brings him down. Aberdeen penalty. Aberdeen penalty. Luis Lopez wasn't a great touch from him, but it was enough to draw Mark Menegiti from his comfort zone. And he brings Duke to the deck, and Aberdeen yet again have a penalty and a chance to break the deadlock as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half.
Well, Colm actually allowed a great advantage in the middle of the park for Aberdeen when they were on the counter-attack. It was offside. There was an offside against a Dundee United player, and then he allowed the counter-attack, and it went so fast up the field. Dundee United get caught in the hop. It was ended up a 2v2 or a 3v versus 2. William's right, it's a bad touch, but it's an actually bad touch that's a good touch because it ends up luring Mark Birighitti out. And you know, I think they're going to check. They're checking this, but it's going to be a penalty, isn't it, Willie?
It looks like it. I mean, you know, Birighitti looks as though Duke just gets there first, gets a little toe on it, and the goalkeeper takes him out. I'd be very surprised if the penalty's not given. But absolutely, Willie Collum, the advantage that was played because, well, you know, the linesman here puts his flag up, and there's no real reason for it because Aberdeen's won the ball. You know, whether that's had an effect on United, whether they've switched off. I was asking the question, where is Duke?
Well, Duke scored a penalty. Scored a penalty. Livingston, Miovski missed one, but it is Miovski who stands over it. Just 2 missed penalties out of 41 for Aberdeen. Miovski did miss one of those, and of course he missed what was a retaken penalty against Hibs here 8 nights ago. Here he goes, left-footed, goal! Into the left corner, Birighitti guesses wrongly. It's the Aussie goalkeeper who coughed up that opportunity for Aberdeen, and Bojan Miovski smacks the ball into the net at the beach end as Aberdeen look to go into the break in 3rd spot. It's Aberdeen 1, United 0.
Oh, it's a brilliant strike, you know, from Miovski. You know, he gets it on that left foot, puts the goalkeeper the wrong way, drills it into the far corner to give Aberdeen the lead. You know, I think there's been nothing in the game. Aberdeen's took full advantage of the opportunity to hit United in the break because for most of the game United haven't been exposed. They were certainly exposed on that occasion. The pace of Duke and the craftsmanship as well of Miovski to set him up. And then that touch, and Craig's absolutely right, it was a horrendous touch, but you know what? It worked for him because Birighitti's then thinking, I'm going to get this, but Duke's that quick onto it that he doesn't.
You can't actually blame Mark Birighitti, the Dundee United goalkeeper, for coming out because it is such a bad touch. You're thinking he's going to get there. You know, we maybe give Duke a wee bit of credit for his next bit of pace, and he gets his toe on the next one, and that's why Birighitti, you know, just has a clips his ankle, clips his foot, and brings him down. But it would be interesting to see how Dundee United were exposed there. It looked like, you know, Kieran Freeman was very high up the pitch on this side, but surely they had enough numbers back to deal with a counter-attack. I think it was a good bit of play. Aberdeen linked the play very well in the midfield, and it just went very quickly from then on.
Here goes Clarkson, he's got it from Duke driving forward. Aberdeen looking for a quick fire second. Clarkson's cross is poor, goes straight to Birighitti at his near post, and it will stay at 1-0 to Aberdeen.
It's going to be a very interesting battle down here, Liam, with on the left-hand side, Aberdeen's left-hand side, Dundee United's right-hand side. The two number 22s, Kieran Freeman is the wing-back for Dundee United, and you know, you've got Hayden Coulson for Aberdeen, and they're kind of just playing a little bit of cat and mouse. Coulson looks like he's winning the battle at the moment. He's putting Freeman on the back foot more than often, asking Liam Smith to come out and help him. It's just a nice little battle that we've got going down here by the wing-backs, and it looks like Aberdeen's getting a lot of joy down this side of the pitch.
It's Miovski's 12th goal of the season, incidentally. It was Aberdeen's 10th penalty of the season, into double figures in penalties. As United come forward with Middleton, right-hand side of the Aberdeen box, up against Scales, looks up, left foot ball comes in, it's not great. Cleared by Stewart. 38.5 on the clock. Duke gets the break of the ball against Smith. Now he's driving forward across the halfway line. Shows too much of it there to Edwards, who covers for Liam Smith's absence because he was further up the pitch there, having lost the ball, and out it goes for an Aberdeen throw in midway inside the United half. Important period of the game this for Dundee United. 39 minutes in. They have had a soft centre at times this season. When they've played well, they've played very well, but they're bottom of the league for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to show composure. Yeah, they've went a goal down. You know, they'll be disappointed with that, particularly the organisation side of it, because they were hitting the break, and you know, they hadn't looked as though they were going to lose a goal in that manner, you know, for the majority of this game. But they were punished, and you know, Duke has got that pace, though. You know,
it's a danger, yeah.
If he gets a bit of space, I mean, there's no stopping him. Absolutely no stopping him.
Yeah, well, he's got the pace, but you just saw it there as well. He uses his body really well. He uses it with Liam Smith, and then he turns and he just runs at people. You know, if you can get him doing that more often.
Here's a chance for United though. McGrath driving forward. McCrory gets a touch. McGrath's still on it though, wide left. He's wanting a corner, he's gone down. Fouled, free kick United. Now this is about level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line. Maybe just a yard or two further towards the byline than that. Willie Collum, there's no doubt there. McGrath did well. He was either getting a corner or a free kick. He knew one or the other was coming there, I think.
Listen, he played for it, didn't he? And unfortunately, Matty Kennedy bought it and he's barged into him. It is a free kick, but he was looking for the free kick, Craig.
Yeah, there was no need for the Aberdeen player to go in the back of him. You know, try and hold him up. Could you have got the other side in to try and keep the ball in play? Maybe. But the barge is just giving Dundee United a free kick in a very good area.
Yeah, very good area. McGrath's over it. Final 5 minutes of the first half. Jamie McGrath waits over on that far side, a couple of yards from the far side touchline and from the penalty area and from the byline. As good as a corner. In it comes. Roos beats it away with the right fist, and out it goes for a throw into United, level with the Aberdeen penalty spot on this main stand side, as they look for a leveller before half time.
I would just like to see them be a wee bit more positive, Dundee United. When Freeman spins the ball round the corner to McGrath or Middleton, can they just cross that ball earlier into the box? It seems to like take too many touches and Aberdeen seem to get back.
Kieran Freeman takes the short throw in field to McGrath, back to Freeman. His cross is cut out, and out for a United throw on the near side. 41 on the clock, 1-0 Aberdeen. Freeman waiting to take this. Still level with the Aberdeen penalty spot. 1-1 incidentally. Queen's Park have levelled against Caley Thistle. Charles Fox, as Sibbald moves it back into the midfield, but Ross Graham's not getting onto it. He's to chase out to the far side touchline to retain possession for United, as that's moved back by Graham to Edwards. Long ball by Ryan Edwards. It's a terrible pass. He's apologising to his teammates, and it's shanked out for a throw-in on this near side for Aberdeen, to be taken by Hayden Coulson. 42 now played. Aberdeen 1, United 0.
Yeah, it was a dreadful attempt at a cross-field pass, wasn't it? You know, from the captain. On that occasion, he knew it himself. He put his hand up. He accepted the critics and the criticism that was coming his way. But I think United can feel a little bit hard done by. You know, they haven't been exposed in too many occasions. I think Aberdeen have marginally took control of the game, you know, just before they got the goal, and they're certainly making the most of it in terms of possession. But you know, their shape is still good. I think what they have to do, okay, I don't know what you feel about it, but I think both Aberdeen wing backs are not good defensively.
Oh, it's been left by the defender. Duke's in, lobs Birigiti, it's wide. What a chance, spurned by Duke there. He missed a really good opportunity at Livingston on Tuesday. Ross Graham totally misjudged the flight of the ball there. Left it, when if he sticks his head onto it, he gets rid of the danger. Instead it dropped to Duke. He was anticipating the error, but his lob goes past the left-hand post, and it stays 1-0 Aberdeen.
Strange run from Ross Graham there. Usually get a shout, and if he had a shout, I could understand. Maybe he's done. I don't know if he's got one. Obviously we don't know, but you know, he's definitely left that one. Duke's nearly in, and I think he should do better there. Well, he's got
to score.
Mark Birigiti's way off his line. He's lobbed him, and it was a slow motion one for us here, waiting to see where it was going to land. It's just luckily for Dundee United bounced past the post, but another threat. You know, it's one of the things Will was just talking about, being Dundee United still being in the game, being a little bit unfortunate. They could see themselves going in 2-0 down, you know, just by a mistake, and you know, that's a whole different game in the second half for him.
It's a huge error by Ross Graham. He shouldn't leave it. I mean, he actually ducks. He could easily have headed it. He's got to be aware that Duke is in behind. He knows that Duke has got pace, and I'll tell you what, the striker should have scored. It's a major error for him, because it was on. The goalkeeper comes out. All you have to do is lob it over his head, and he did lob it over his head. Keep it in between the sticks, and it's a goal. He does it. Big chance.
Yeah, how big a miss is that going to be come full time today? We're in the final minute of the first half, plus any injury time Willie Collum wants to add on. United have gone behind. That's the 14th time they've gone behind in the Premiership this season. They've found an equaliser 4 times. 2 of those occasions were at Celtic Park last Saturday, as they ended up losing 4-2 just when they thought they'd managed to salvage a point in Glasgow. As Ross County found out today, albeit their goal came much earlier. You have to upset the odds.
I found that out myself on a few occasions.
Yes.
Even when you think you're in a game with Celtic, they come back, they score a late goal, or something happens, and you just try and hang in that game as long as possible.
It wasn't the late show from Celtic today. 2-1 win for them. 9 clear at the top after Rangers spilled more points, this time in Paisley. St Mirren keeping their good home run going. We're into 1 minute of injury time at the end of the first half here. Aberdeen capitalise on points dropped by Hibs, Hearts and Livingston this afternoon. Hearts and Livingston drawing 1 each. Good resilience by Hearts. You got Craig Halkett back, the injured players beginning to return, as Sibbald rolls it to his left for Ross Graham. Out it goes to McGrath, chips it forward. Graham charging forward, he's at the byline, he's done well to pull it back. Stewart clears with the right foot. Really good attacking play there by Ross Graham down that left hand side.
Yeah, the big man got in well. You know, it's not where he's used to being. He makes a run into the box, it's like an underlap, it comes round the corner, and he actually tries to get across in the box. He was running out of ground there, he was running out of pitch. But you know, Dundee United have got to be more positive. Yes, get another man forward, you know, get one of your centre halves to step into a hole, because Aberdeen are set up really well. Both teams are making it difficult for each other when they're in possession to play through them. Aberdeen are making it really difficult for Dundee United to find any spaces. You've got to move the ball. You've either got to move the ball quicker, or someone's got to make a run beyond.
Half time at Pittodrie, it's Aberdeen who lead. Bojan Miovski's 12th of the season, coming from the spot after Duke was brought down by Mark Birighitti. A game of few opportunities, but Duke should have scored a few minutes after Aberdeen took the advantage when he was through on goal. Long ball, Ross Graham misjudged it horribly, and he was the most relieved man in Pittodrie as Duke's lob beat Birighitti, but it also beat the goal as it sailed past the left-hand post. Glenn Middleton has come closest for United, a deflected shot from the edge of the box which whistled past the left-hand post. Matty Kennedy missed a chance in the early stages of the game as he blazed over the crossbar after good set-up work by Leighton Clarkson. But as it stands at half-time here at Pittodrie, the Dons will go into the World Cup break sitting third in the table, because right now it's Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0.
Aberdeen versus Dundee United on digital radio.
Online at BBC Sport Scotland.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound,
where Scottish football lives.
What a strike! What a goal!
So the Dons with the 1-0 advantage at half-time, as Liam said there. As things stand, they sit third in the table. Aberdeen, that would be 8 points behind Rangers, who drew at lunchtime. We'll actually hear from Stephen Robinson, the St Mirren manager, in a few minutes' time. We didn't get a chance to play that out earlier. They came so close to getting a win against Rangers today, only denied by a late penalty from Tavernier. In terms of Dundee United, as things stand in the live table, they would be 3 points adrift of Kilmarnock and Ross County going into the World Cup break. Kelly, an important win for them this afternoon. Controversially so, you'd have to say, at home to Hibs. County did go ahead against Celtic. Again, a controversial penalty award, but Celtic fought back to take the points, Turnbull and Haksabanovic. So, Willie Miller, your thoughts on that first half? I heard you saying at one point that United marginally had the better of it, but Aberdeen got the noses in front. On the balance of play, is that about right?
Oh yeah, I think Aberdeen deserve to be in the lead now. You know, they've got the breakthrough, they've got that goal, the penalty, and it was a definite penalty from where we were sitting. We were sitting at the other end of the ground as well. So, you know, Willie Collum was straight to the spot and he got it absolutely spot on, and Miovski didn't make any error of it, but it should be two, because Duke finds himself through after a huge error from Ross Graham. You know, I don't know what he's thinking about in terms of, because all he has to do is head it, and he's a centre half and he's 6'4". Is that not what he's there for? You know, just head the ball away, but he doesn't. He somehow ducks. You know, we're thinking, did he get a shout for the goalkeeper? But it didn't look like it, because the pace of the ball was never taking it through to Birighitti. And then Birighitti actually gets himself in no man's land. You know, and it bounces up perfectly for Duke. He just has to get it in between the sticks. He does a lob okay, but he puts it wide. So, you know, I think Aberdeen going in at half-time could rightly say that they deserve to be in the lead. In fact, maybe 2. I thought, for the first half hour or so, there wasn't a great deal in it. I thought United played well. They were zipping the ball about quite well. They looked really well organised. They didn't look as though they were going to give up much to Aberdeen, and it was very surprising to see them being so disorganised for Aberdeen to get the first goal. But they're still in the game. They haven't been much of a threat up top though, and they're playing with 3 up top as well, but they're not really causing the Aberdeen back 3 too many issues. Craig, what do you think?
They've not done nearly enough, Kenny, in an attacking sense at all. Stephen Fletcher's been quite good at holding things up at times. He's flicked a couple on. You've got Glenn Middleton and Jamie McGrath, who are very good players in terms of trying to create for you. They've not done enough with the ball when they've had it, and when they have had an opportunity, when Aberdeen have maybe been a little bit short of numbers, it's been too slow. They've allowed them to get back in, they've allowed them to get back into defensive shape, and then Aberdeen, to be fair to them as well, have defended pretty well. I would like to see it when Keelan Freeman gets the ball on this side, and he's done it a couple of times really well. He's played in Glenn Middleton. Can Glenn Middleton just take a touch and fire a ball across the box and see what happens? Stephen Fletcher's always in there. United need to get more bodies in there as well. But in terms of the build-up from both teams, when it is slow and in possession, it's really difficult for them to play through. It's quite a boring game in terms of that. But what on the flip side of it, both teams have set up really well to stop each other doing that. And it's only in the counter-attack really that Aberdeen have really had any joy.
Well, we've spoken a lot about the 11 signings that the manager has made at Pittodrie. Miovski, I think it's fair to say, for the large part, has been the shining light. He got the goal tonight. But an argument in recent weeks, Willie, that Duke is now right in contention for that, to be the star of the show. He's been very, very good, hasn't he?
Yeah, very difficult to play against, Kenny, particularly if he gets a run on you. I would suggest that if you're playing against him, you want to try and keep him facing his own goal, because when he's faced your goal, if he gets a little bit of space as well, his pace, you just can't keep up with him. And his pace was an element of the penalty as well, being able to cover ground so quickly. Miovski's an intelligent player. He's the one that will do all the thinking. Duke doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't think too much other than when he gets the ball, and I think it's a great attribute to have if you're a striker. He wants to take on defenders. He's only got one thing in mind: is just run at defenders. Okay, at times his touch isn't good enough, and he has to work in that. But when you're travelling at that kind of speed, your touch isn't going to be, particularly good at times. But he's a real goal threat. He's a danger if you're playing against him as a defender. He must frighten the life out of you when he gets turned. If there's space in behind you, he wants to occupy that space. He's direct. He wants to score goals as well. I think it's a great blend. I think it's a great pairing. Don't take anything away from Miovski. He's a very, very good striker. But Duke is that threat, and he excites the fans. You can hear whenever he gets in the ball the Duke chant going forward. So, for me, if you're asking me, I think he's taken the limelight away from Miovski. Miovski, early part, Duke wasn't playing, he wasn't fit, but since he's got his opportunity, then I think he's taken the shine off of Miovski. But if you put the two of them together, then it's sparkling.
Yeah, it's dynamite. Just watching that chance, as you said, Willie, the lobby, he should have scored. I mean, he composed himself very well. He got the height right, but it was just wide off the goal. Just an update in terms of the late kick-off in the Championship this evening. It remains Queen's Park 1, Inverness Cali Thistle 1. Billy Mackay with the opener for Cali Thistle in 18. Charlie Fox with the equaliser on 50. Full second half commentary to come from Pittodrie. We started at midday on Sports Sound this afternoon, a 12:30 kick-off in Paisley. Real drama again in that game. It finished St Mirren 1, Rangers 1. Ayunga with the opener for Saints on 47 minutes. Then James Tavernier with a penalty on 84 minutes. We heard from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst earlier in the day. Far from convincing, I have to say, when asked if he would still be the Rangers manager after a return from the World Cup. He said, you don't know, things happen in football. So we shall see on that one. In terms of St Mirren, I covered the game in the League Cup where Stephen Robinson apologised to the fans when they lost at Airdrie early on. He said things would have to improve. There's no doubt they have. They find themselves just outside the top 6 on goal difference. 3 sides and 21 points. Hearts, St Johnstone and St Mirren. Let's then hear from the Saints manager, Stephen Robinson. He was speaking with our reporter, Keradine Itsan.
Well, Stephen, first of all, just give me your take on what was again another fine performance from your side.
Yeah, very proud of the boys. Actually, when you come off a game against Rangers and you're disappointed not to have all 3 points, it probably shows a level of performance. I thought we were excellent first half. Took the game to them as well. We allowed them to have possession in certain areas of the pitch and try and spring on them. Second half, scored and then set back a little bit too much. But you're going to face that kind of quality. I think it was the only time Ryan Kent got past Ryan Strain. But, there's going to be occasions in the game where that happens with, as I said, a level of player. And it's her 8th penalty in 15 games, 8th penalty. So it's got to turn around for us in the second half of the season. A couple of them have to go our way. Listen, I'm not arguing the penalty, it was a penalty. But overall, I thought we probably deserved 3 points out of that. Didn't get it, but, on the whole, it's been an excellent start and a lot to build on.
There was a lot of quality about your team today, wasn't there? This was by no means a backs against the wall scrape a point kind of performance, not at all.
No, not at all. I think any of the home games we've been excellent. We're right in the game. I think for about 15 minutes in the second half after we scored, we're a little bit negative in terms of stepping back, but we contained them. I didn't think they were going to score. Didn't think they were going to break us down. We're shape, excellent, and I have to give a lot of credit to the players. It's okay saying do this and do that, but to take them that information on and do it as well as they have done in the vast majority of games is an absolute credit to the players.
Yeah, and for Celtic and Rangers to both come here and you've beaten Celtic and you've drawn with Rangers, that says a lot about your side, doesn't it? Yeah,
look, we're a decent side away from home. Even if we can hold that a little bit of 50% change, then we can be a top 6 side. It's yet to happen here in the current format. So we've got the basis of a good side. We're hoping boys come back fit and strong after the break, and then there's a long way still to go.
Yeah, talk about momentum. That's 8 games unbeaten here, and sadly there's a massive big World Cup break coming for you now. Yeah, but look, with the size of squad we've got, it's a small squad. It allows people to go away, have a little break, and come back fully ready to go. I doubt very much we'll be able to strengthen with the finances, so we have what we have, and it's a good squad. And hopefully that we can keep everyone together, because there'll naturally be boys not happy not playing. But we're hoping that we can keep the whole squad together and then go and challenge for a top 6 place in the second part of the season. And as you say there about VAR, it was the right decision, I think, so no complaints on that score. This is what VAR is for, it's to get the calls right.
Yeah, it's a penalty. From where we were, we thought it might be as well. Marcus just doesn't stop his momentum. As I say, when you're playing against the quality around Kent, at times it happens. We've been on the wrong end of 8 of them now, so only one of them was clear and obvious for me. But that's what VAR's there for. It done its job today, and hopefully we get a few things go our way in the second half of the season.
Just finally, what does the St Mirren manager do when a World Cup's on? Do you watch the games? I know some of your players are going.
I'll be watching it in the sunshine. I know that. Yeah, of course. Massively supporting Australia. We're desperate for young Keanu to go there and do well and get some game time, and hopefully Australia can win the World Cup.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we shall see lots of players from Scottish football representing Australia in the World Cup. St Mirren having a great season, very, very strong at home, Willie. We've spoken a few times on the programme about Giovanni van Bronckhorst and potentially just one game away from, you'd think, losing his job. He's probably at that point at the moment. Asked today if he expected to be given time to turn things around. He said, we have to see. It's still football, and if you have a run like this, a lot of things can happen, but I have the backing of the board. Yeah. They gave me confidence, but in football, you never know. Would you like to see a manager come out a bit stronger than that, Willie?
Well, I think, and he's spoken about it before, you can only manage in your own personality. Now, whether it's right or wrong, the way he's handled the question, I think is open for discussion. And, I think Rangers supporters would like to see him being a little bit more stronger. But in a way, what he said was actually factual. You're getting into this break now, and the board have got a decision to make, whether they stick with him or not, to be perfectly honest, because I would assume that he would be looking for some funds during the transfer window. You're not going to give the funds to a manager you're uncertain of. So the board have got to be certain that he's the right man to take them forward, and there must be questions over them. Okay, a lot of injuries, absolutely, you've got to take that on board too, but at the same time, it's not good enough, is it? And we all know that you know, what a Rangers manager has got to do is to be at least competing and challenging Celtic. If they're not doing that, then the pressure comes on, and it comes on big time.
Well, we shall see what response we get this evening from Dundee United. They trail Aberdeen by 1-0 at the break. A really nice penalty from Bojan Miovski on 37 minutes. Let's get back then to our team at Pittodrie. Willie Miller, Craig Easton and Liam McLeod.
Both sets of players back out on the Pittodrie pitch as United look to try and come from behind. It's been a problem all season for teams out with Celtic. Away from home, I know Motherwell have been much better on the road than they have been at Fir Park this season, but of the 75 that the teams have played away from home so far, there's only been 21 wins across the board. That incidentally includes Rangers, who've only won 3 times away from Ibrox this season. Dundee United haven't won at all away from Tannadice this season in the league. Just that League Cup victory at Livingston, as the Terrors get the second half underway, wearing their all black with white and tangerine flashes. Aberdeen all in red with the white pinstripe down the jersey. The Dons going left to right, shooting towards the red shed end of the stadium. United towards the beach as McGrath picks up. No changes for either team. Conditions absolutely benign and perfect and pretty mild in all truth here mid-November in the Granite City. I can tell you that's some kind of miracle.
It's even milder here, Liam, because Willie's got his heater on as well, so I'm actually sweating.
It doesn't matter. Willie gets the heater out in September. In September that comes out. Got to look after him as United pick up with Sibbald, who rolls it back the way to Edwards, and it's a short ball to Craig Sibbald again. He plays it to Ross Graham. United behind to that Bojan Miovski penalty. They'll feel aggrieved to be behind because there's been nothing between the sides as we edge towards the second minute of the second half. Here goes Ross Graham, an amazing run forward, brilliantly done, but his pass lets him down straight at Ramadani as Miovski looks to reverse it out to Ramadani in the near side, but McGrath is there picking up the scraps. Roos in goal for Aberdeen, McCrory, Stewart, Scales, Kennedy and Coulson, Barron, Ramadani, Clarkson, Miovski, Duke, United, Birigiti in goal, Smith, Edwards, Graham, Freeman and BH, Sibbald, Levitt, McGrath, Middleton and Fletcher as Aberdeen play it back to Roos. Another good positive bit of play by Ross Graham there, Craig.
Yeah, positive, and that's what you're saying, there's nothing between the teams, but Dundee United haven't threatened Aberdeen's goal at all. But Ross Graham, he stepped in there. That's what I was talking about in the first half. You need someone either to break a line, step in, make a run. Ross Graham thought about doing that. It was just his final pass there into a striker or to someone in a more forward position that let him down. But that's what Dundee United need to do. They've got to release one of these centre halves that maybe steps in, or they've got to release a midfielder further forward. Because, you know, let's be honest, they absolutely didn't threaten that Aberdeen goal in the first half, did they, Willie?
And there's no reason why, you know, one of the 3 centre-backs can't do that, because they've only got the 2 up there. So, you know, it should be a tactic that's employed. And, you know, Ross Graham did well moving into the space. You know, it was a dreadful attempt to the pass, wasn't it? And in fact, he could have been caught out with Aberdeen in the counter.
Goal scoring no problem for Aberdeen here at Pittodrie. They are 1-0 up. Tonight they put 4 past St Mirren, 5 past Livingston, 4 against Kilmarnock, 4 against Hibs. Last time they were here a week past last night. And Stewart plays it short to McCrory and back to Anthony Stewart.
Well, my friend's texting me at half time. He's in the shed there. Is it the red shed? And he's saying this is the worst he's seen Aberdeen at Pittodrie this season. You know, we were just talking about not being much goal action at either end, and he's saying, yeah, they've been a lot more exciting. He's been telling me how exciting this team is. I was looking forward to coming up here and seeing, you know, goals, football, and it's been a bit, you know, it's been a bit underwhelming so far.
Still plenty of time, Craig. Don't you worry yourself, as Kennedy picks up. Both teams capable, we know that. Stewart plays it to Kennedy again on this near side. Under a bit of pressure, he hits it long down the right-hand side. One in the air by Graham. His header finds Sibbald. And it's now with Levitt, who controls in the chest out to BH. Back to Levitt, straight to Kennedy though. Kennedy frees himself of Aziz BH. Pokes it forward, advantage for Aberdeen, but the ball was wayward from Kennedy. And Willie Collum brings it back for an Aberdeen free kick about level with the edge of the centre circle in the United half. 3.5 into the second half, with Aberdeen leading by 1-0.
Liam, I'm just thinking that's a typical fan point of view, isn't it? You know, if he's not getting 4 goals at Pittodrie, he's not happy.
I don't think Aberdeen have they put together a 90-minute performance this season. Probably the closest they've got to that was Kilmarnock here, Willie. Yeah, that's probably the closest they've got to.
Yeah, Kilmarnock, Kilmarnock apart, to be perfectly honest, but I thought Kilmarnock were very open on the day, and that suited Aberdeen. But it has been exciting at Pittodrie. They have been scoring goals for fun, and you know, when fans get that, they get used to it, so they're wanting it every time that they turn up at Pittodrie, which is great. It's great to hear that they're disappointed that it's only one goal and it should have been two, and they're looking for 4, 5 and 6. Well, so maybe we'll get that in the second half.
3 came against Hibs here in the second half last Friday. United will be eager for that not to happen again. Kennedy's a throw-in for Aberdeen, level with the edge of the D of the United box. He's found Barron, who's been pretty quiet tonight, all things considered. It's Kennedy on the right, that's just gone over the line though before he crossed in. And that'll be a United throw-in down on the near side.
I think that's one thing you can say, William, about William Fox since he's come in. When results, Dundee United have been in every game that they've played. Even when they've lost games, it's been by the odd goal.
The Celtic game, that was probably the only time they've been walloped,
2 goals,
isn't it?
But that came right at the end. I think it was
so
injury time.
I'm talking about the 9,
on the 9, But even you know, before that, I think they lost a 3 to St Mirren, and they have, you know, they did struggle. They went behind and they crumbled at times. I think William Fox has stopped that rot. I think he has made them a bit more solid. I think his team selection's been very good. I think you know, with the personnel that he's got available.
It's a good squad, Craig. It's a good squad.
Yeah, it's a better squad than what they're showing on the pitch. And you know, this is really important that they've got to start at this time to try and pick up points, because that squad that's been built, it's an expensive squad. It's got to start performing. It's got to start thinking, you know, and working harder at times. But I think, you know, William Fox, what he has brought in is a bit of a stability, and they don't look as vulnerable at the back anymore.
51st minute, Aberdeen leading 1-0, but United in possession with McGrath. He's under pressure on the near side, pinched off by McCrory. Barron then emerges with it and goes all the way back to his keeper. And Roos puts it forward with the right foot. Underneath it's Edwards, heads it into the Aberdeen half. Barron tries to control, he's done well. Finds Clarkson, and now it's with Ramadani on the turn and sweeping it out to this right-hand side for Matty Kennedy. Looks at what his options are ahead of him. He elects to poke it back into his own half for McCrory for Ramadani. A little bit panic-stricken as he rolled it back to Stewart with Sibbald all over him. Stewart gives it straight to Levitt though. And then that's a poor foul given away by Ramadani. I think that ball was going away, and Ramadani's got to take a yellow card as his medicine there. He is hauled Middleton to the deck. I think that ball was going back to an Aberdeen player anyway, so it's a cheap yellow card. It's a cheap free kick to give away by Ilber Ramadani.
It is. I think he's a little bit frustrated, you know, with the passage of play there, and it was just beyond him. But I can't understand why he's tugged at Middleton, because he's not going anywhere. There's plenty of cover behind. In fact, you're right, Liam. I think you know, Aberdeen is actually gaining possession from the touch that Middleton's taken, so a yellow card for that.
Here comes the free kick, headed away by Stewart, and then Barron picks up the long ball. Duke's going to chase down this near side. He's on it now as well. Duke now up against Freeman on this right-hand side of the United box. Duke still has it into the area. He goes, brilliant skill. He's on the left. He goes for goal. Blocked there by Levitt. Back to Ramadani for Barron. Ramadani again switches the play, right footed out to Coulson on the left. Aberdeen's first real attack of the second half. That is 7 minutes old. They lead 1-0. Clarkson's ball in. Miovski almost got there, and he would have done it had not been for Ross Graham heading it behind for an Aberdeen corner. 52.5 on the clock. Aberdeen 1, United 0.
I thought it was going to just go over, agonisingly go over Ross Graham's head there. It was magnificent. Pass from Clarkson, wasn't it? Just looking for Miovski. That's what Miovski does. He plays on the shoulder, he drifts off, and if centre halves aren't aware of that, then they get caught out. Ross Graham was almost caught out there, but great defending at the end of the day.
Kennedy to take the corner, main stand side. He's got his left hand in the air now, right-footed, out-swinging corner. McCrory finds the side net only. Nose in the south stand, thought he'd put it the right side of the post as far as Aberdeen were concerned. It is the right side of the post as far as United are concerned, because it's a goal kick to them. 53 on the clock, Aberdeen leading 1-0.
Ross McCrory got his run on his marker there. He got across the front, but he was too far across the front of the front post there. I think he was almost in the, you know, outside the 6-yard box. It'd have been a really tough finish if he could have directed that goalwards. You know, he put it into the side netting, but Dundee United just lost their marker there. Ross McCrory was able to find a little bit of space in the box from a corner, and they've got to be careful there.
Incidentally, the former United striker Simon Murray has completed the comeback for Queen's Park. They lead Inverness by 2-1. Cally Thistle led through Billy Mackay. Goals from Fox and Murray, and it's the Spiders who lead 2-1 in that late kick-off in the Championship. It's going into the closing stages of that one now, and that'll take Queen's Park up to 4th on 24. Cali Thistle would be 6th on 22. It's like pistons, that division. It's just shifting from second downwards, probably. It's positions shifting all the time, constantly. Ayr United and Greenock Morton absolutely delighted with the cutthroat nature of the division just now. They sit 3 points separating them at the top of the second tier. Here in the Premiership, final game before the World Cup break. 1-0 Aberdeen, but it's United in possession with McGrath. Rolls it out low, out to Freeman. Fletcher wants it early. Freeman's cross is so bad though, and it sails high over the crossbar. And that's a goal kick. Fletcher appreciating again that it was the right idea, but the execution was pretty woeful from Kieran Freeman, and it stays Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0 as we approach 55
minutes. When you've got
minutes.
Stephen Fletcher in the box, you've got to put balls in the box from the attack. Got to give him a chance. That was a great opportunity. He was under not really under any pressure. It was a nice bit of play, great wee passage of play. Jamie McGrath, Glenn Middleton, a couple of 1-2s. The ball goes to Freeman, who's on the overlap. He's got about a yard of that. He's got a yard that he can just whip that one in front of Stephen Fletcher and give him an opportunity, and it goes way over the bar. That's got to be better from Dundee United, and I think that really sums up their attacking play this evening, Willie.
Yeah, you know, when you do get that space as well, you know, mind you, sometimes you're better not having time to think about it, you know, and it comes to you quickly and you dispatch it, and the cross is good. That was just an awful effort, and as you said, magnificent play. McGrath and Middleton to set it up, but poor cross into the box.
I think we're seeing a lot more of Jamie McGrath when he's been playing further up the pitch, and he's on it just now. When he first got into the United team, he was further back, and here he comes down the left, giving Ramadani a hard time. He's on it now, checks, facing his own goal. His pass is cut out by Ramadani though, kept going by Levitt, but the return by McGrath to Levitt was out for an Aberdeen throw-in. There are signs of life here for Dundee United. This game is far from over as far as they're concerned, just the one goal down. And again, it's not as if Aberdeen have taken the lead in the latter stages of the first half and are utterly dominating now, like they did against Hibs. This is different right now.
No, again, you know, in the second half, I think United have had the better of it. You know, certainly in possession and the way they've been playing. They still believe that they're in this game. You know, the fans might be disappointed. It's over 17,000 here tonight as well. It's magnificent.
17,035 was the official attendance we got at half time.
Brilliant. A big hand to the United supporters, you know, bottom of the league, and they're up here in their numbers too. It's adding for, you know, a great atmosphere here. I think we could be entertained a little bit more with some more goal-mouth action, but United are still in this game, absolutely, playing some good football.
And no VAR controversy as yet. And we said that at half-time of the game in Paisley as McCrory gives it away, and Levitt drives forwards, an early ball. He'll be regretting that now. Low ball cut out by Stewart, and then Ramadani barged to the ground there by McGrath. And Aberdeen will have a free kick midway inside their own half. Just a run through the benches for both teams. Aberdeen, Lewis, the sub-goalie, Mackenzie, Morris, Bizawan, Watkins, Duncan, Richardson, Milne, Ramirez. United, Eriksson, McMahon, Niskanen, Pollitt, Doom, Mikason, Anaku, Harks and Watt. So certainly plenty of ammunition if Liam Fox wants to throw some of that onto the pitch at some point, which I'm sure he will. We're 3 minutes shy of the hour mark at Pittodrie with Aberdeen leading 1-0, and you just wonder how much longer he's going to leave it.
Peter Pollitt's in this Cheston one. He was out for a long time. He had really quite a lot of problems with his Achilles, and
always has.
Yeah, it's good to see him back, and I think he's been getting introduced in games, and he's finding his feet now. He's one that could maybe just open something up for Dundee United.
There's Scales though, good play. Left hand side of the box, Clarkson in. Oh, again, it's Graham taking it away from Miovski, heading it over his own crossbar this time. And I think Miovski's clattered into the post in the process as he went for it twice in the second half. A floated delivery into the box by Leighton Clarkson has just been nodded behind by Ross Graham in a very timely motion as he denies Bojan Miovski for a second time, because Willie, that looked all the way 2-0 if Graham doesn't get there.
I would suggest that it's really vital that Ross Graham is 6'4", because he's just getting off on both of these, and you know what, he's been deceived in both occasions, because Miovski's on the shoulder just drifted off the back of him. Was it Clarkson again that put the cross in? Another fabulous cross from Clarkson, and almost there for Aberdeen.
Kennedy takes the corner, outswinger with the right boot. Scales not quite there, Fletcher is, and Kennedy, well, he's elected to keep it in play. I think another corner would have been the other option. Kennedy swings the ball in with the right foot. Scales heads it back towards McCrory, clear by Freeman. Wonderful clearance, because that may well have been sneaking past Birighitti. Aberdeen still have it. Kennedy wide in the right, crossing in, headed away by Graham. And then Smith picks up. The Aberdeen supporters think it's rolled down his arm inside the box. And United come away with it with Middleton. And now it's with Smith, but he's put it straight into touch for an Aberdeen throw-in. Good little period of play and pressure there by Aberdeen.
Good pressure from Aberdeen, yeah. Kieran, you see Kieran Freeman.
Is that a check?
Is that a check? I don't think that's going to be.
He was telling him to hold it just now, but it's been very swiftly dealt with.
Yeah, it came off Liam Smith, and the Aberdeen supporters were protesting louder than the players were. To be fair, that's always a sign.
I think Birighitti was beaten there, but Freeman, heads it off the line. He might even have Liam Smith behind him as well. But, a bit of pressure. I think the second header that Ross Graham has taken off of Majowski is probably the harder one, Willie, because Leighton Clarkson's ball seemed to be a little flatter the second time. It was a little, to give Ross Graham a lot of credit, he actually moves his feet really well and gets into a position just to take it off the head of him. But that's twice Aberdeen's been in that position. That's twice that Clarkson's been in that position to just float that ball in or whip it in from the left-hand side, and Majowski looking to drift off the back of the defender.
We played an hour at Pittodrie, Aberdeen leading 1-0. McGrath with a foul and Barron. Willie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as far as Ross Graham, it's a good education for him playing against Majowski, because he's the type of player that if you want to play at the highest level, then you've got to play against someone that's thinking, where should I be? The cross is coming in, where do I need to be to make it difficult for a central defender? And that's what he's done on both occasions. But to be fair, Ross Graham's been up to it.
There's Ramadani, chip ball into the United box, cleared by BH. Aberdeen's best spell in the second half, but it's come off Ramadani's head and gone the wrong way, but he's won it back off Fletcher. Clarkson finds McCrory, then back into the centre circle for Stewart. Rolls it out to Kennedy on this near side. Kennedy, low ball straight to Edwards. Now it's with Levitt, who pokes it back into his own box for Graham, who clears with the left peg up towards halfway. A wrestling match between Stewart and Fletcher was Anthony Stewart's way, and Aberdeen have a free kick and a 1-0 lead on 61.
I don't know if there's too much in it. It's two grizzly, chiseled players out there want to have a go at each other, both physical, enjoy the contact, and I think the referee got it right, but I enjoyed the contest.
Probably did, but it's been a good battle, Stuart. I think Stuart's dealt well with the threat of Stephen Fletcher in the most part. I quite like him on the ball as well. I know we're talking about we like our defenders to defend, but I think Stuart, when he plays those passes out for the back, he just played one. It's really crisp. He gives his player that he's passing to a real chance to take a good touch and have a little bit of time in the ball.
I think he's been working at it, and it has improved since he came to the club, because he was a little bit unpredictable with his passing early on, but it certainly has improved.
Kennedy will take the throw in for Aberdeen beyond the midway point of the United half on this main stand side, down the line for Duke, who knocks it back towards Kennedy. BH gets a toe onto it though, and he's done well to find Levitt, who's such a good footballer. He works it with McGrath, gets it back. Brilliant play by Dylan Levitt, until he then passes it to the aforementioned Stewart, who clears his lines down towards the corner flag, and that'll be a United goal kick. We played 62 minutes, Aberdeen 1, United 0. United will cling on to the fact that Aberdeen's well-documented problems with clean sheets may well continue this evening. Right now they are sitting with a 1-0 lead, but they've only kept 5 clean sheets in their last 34 league games, and it's 7 in 56. It's well documented. We talk about it constantly when they lose goals, but right now United yet to really test Kellaroos. Just that Middleton shot from distance, which was deflected wide in the first half. It's as close as United have come to scoring, as Graham goes back to Birighitti, who rolls it out to this near side again for Graham, who clears with the left foot over the head of McGrath. It's picked up by Ramadani, who's charging forward, finds Majowski, heavy touch in the edge of the area, but he can clip it out to the left of the penalty box here for Coulson. Coulson then taking on Freeman. Still it's Coulson, almost went to ground there, the two number 22s. Coulson has it, he's outside the box now, out wide left there for Clarkson, level with the United penalty spot. Back to Ramadani and then to Coulson. Aberdeen looking for a second which might just break United spirits. It is Ramadani, short ball to Clarkson, goes all the way back to Stewart. So Aberdeen happy to go back to square one here. Stewart, short ball to his left for Clarkson, out wide left for Scales. Scales then back into Leighton Clarkson, the man on loan from Liverpool, plays it left to right of the circle for McCrory. Low ball looking for Kennedy, but there's no real direction in the pass from McCrory other than put it behind for the goal kick. It was closer to BH than Kennedy, and it's a United goal kick on 64 minutes, and it's Aberdeen 1, United 0.
I think if Coulson goes down there, there's a decision to be made. I know that there's not too much contact, but I thought there was a bit of contact, and he worked really hard to keep himself off the ground, because Freeman put his toe out. There was contact made.
Leg a wee bit, yeah.
If he'd have went down, I tell you, it's a VAR call without doubt.
Here goes Ross Graham, he's having a good evening. Into the centre circle, tripped by Barron. Jim Goodwin and the Aberdeen supporters are not happy with that award by Willie Collum. And it is a free kick to Dundee United. Just to the left of the centre circle. That's finished, incidentally. Queen's Park 2, Inverness Cali Thistle 1 in the Championship. Another league that you simply can't predict. Queen's Park up to 4th. Cali Thistle down to 6th. And they next take on Ayr United next week in the Highlands. Sazzy's BH here for United. Midway inside the Aberdeen half for Levitt. Squares it for Sybil. Left-footed ball out wide right for Freeman. Support from Smith. United have committed plenty forward. Smith tries to cross, cut out by Scales. They'll break Kieran Freeman's way. Brings it back to Smith again. Smith rolls it into the midfield for Levitt. Takes a couple of touches, moves towards the edge of the box. Brilliant ball! Fletcher can't get the target. Puts it well past the left-hand post. What an opportunity for Stephen Fletcher. And for Dundee United, it stays Aberdeen 1, United 0.
Much better from Dundee United on that right-hand side. They keep the game alive, they keep the ball alive. It comes back out to Dylan Levitt, who has got that bit of quality. Touch out his feet, and he whips a really dangerous ball across the front of that Aberdeen 6-yard box, and Stephen Fletcher's just stretching a little bit too much to try and get a left foot on. He can't get enough contact on it. He might have went for a diving header, I'm not sure, Willie. That was my first thought about it, but I tell you what, much better from Dundee United, and Stephen Fletcher almost about half a yard earlier, and he's probably got himself a goal there.
I think we've got to say it's wonderful play, isn't it, from United? Keeping possession, going from one side to the other, good cross into the box. Again, Fletcher using his experience, just drifting off the back of the defender, and I think it was always going away from him. I think it was always going to be a difficult one for him to get his boot on or his head on, but good build-up play.
You can maybe hear changes being announced in the background. It's a double change for Dundee United, and they're going to take off Glenn Middleton and Craig Sibbald. Sadat Anaku and Ian Harkes have come on. Harkes was a goal scorer, scored the winner against Aberdeen in a game last season. It was a pretty controversial afternoon at Tannadice. Butcher and Ojo sent off. United won the match thanks to Ian Harkes' goal. I mentioned United with a pretty good record against Aberdeen recently, but they are behind here as we approach the final quarter, but that's come right through to Harkes. He's in here, right-hand side, low ball across, and it beats Fletcher, and it beats the Aberdeen defenders on the return, and the Dons get away with a big one there. It stays Aberdeen 1, United 0.
Well, the cross coming into the box, it just wasn't accurate enough, was it, for Stephen Fletcher? But you've got two Aberdeen centre-backs running back towards their own goal. And I thought Ross McCrory did extremely well just to backheel it out the way, because he could have easily have turned that in for the OG. Because Stewart actually took a touch on it as well at the near post. Aberdeen were ripped open on that occasion. There's a big chance. I think the cross into the box has got to be more accurate.
He's just on, Willie, isn't he? It's maybe that.
I thought he was going to hit have a shot from the angle. Fletcher is coming in there for the tap in if it gets to him. But I thought Ian Harkes might have been a little bit more positive in taking on the shot himself.
United have taken control of this game of football right now, and they've had a couple of opportunities to get back on terms. Aberdeen still leading 1-0. We're into the final quarter of it, as Edwards comes forward, rolls it with the right foot out to the left for BH, stepping in field, poking it back again to Graham, and now everyone bar Birigiti's in the Aberdeen half. Levitt gets the break of the ball. His initial pass was cut out by Clarkson. Back into the centre circle for Edwards, who finds McGrath, who strokes it out to Freeman wide on the right-hand side. Freeman in field for McGrath, and now to Levitt again. United have got plenty. They've got 4 along the front line there right now, including BH on the left of it.
and Ian Hart's is going to support that as much as he can as well, William. It's a positive double substitution. You've got Sadat and Aku, who's got real pace as well, Willie, like you're talking about. Duke, he's very positive in the same vein as that. And you've got Ian Hart's that comes on, and you know, he's a box-to-box centre midfielder. Like William said, he's scored a couple of goals. He'll get himself up the pitch, and he'll get in the box at times, and obviously he's just on the pitch and he has that opportunity. Here he is on the ball again.
21 to play, 1-0 Aberdeen, but it's United enjoying this spell of pressure here. Hart short to McGrath, out wide right for Freeman, takes a touch, right foot cross comes in, Fletcher's header is straight at Roos, who holds on. He's had 3 opportunities in the last 5 minutes or so, and Stephen Fletcher, this time he does make good contact, but Roos holds on because it was straight at him. Just over 20 to play. Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0.
And that was a problem. It was straight at Roos. He didn't have to work too hard to gather it, but I think it's magnificent play from Dundee United. You know, it's intricate, it's build up, it's composed. You know, when it goes out to Freeman, he looks up and he picks out Fletcher, and Fletcher should do better. You know, with his experience, with his quality, with his ability, I'm expecting him to bury that in the back of the net. He doesn't. It's just straight at the goalkeeper, and it's an easy take for Roos from a very, very promising situation for United.
But there's no doubt he's got the momentum right now, Craig, and it's not Aberdeen who are leading this game.
You know, and it's out to Kieran Freeman again there, William.
Yeah, Coulson's the covering player for Aberdeen. He's trying to shepherd it behind for the goal kick, which he does expertly. Goal kick to the Dons.
But yeah, Freeman, great ball in for Fletcher, and it came from good play from Ian Hart's. He's just on the pitch. He's made a real difference, actually. He's just bounced a couple of passes. He's taken a little bit more care with them, because I think that was a problem with Dundee United. Whether it's looked nice in possession, when he's got into the final third, maybe that it's almost like the third pass isn't getting there. Hearts took a wee bit more care. It got bounced round. Kieran Freeman whipped the ball. We gave him a bit of stick for putting one into the stand. He's really whipped that one onto Stephen Fletcher's head into that near post area, and unfortunately Fletcher couldn't get the contact that he wanted. But much more positive from Dundee United. If we can keep this up, we've got a bit of a game on our hands a second for the last, 20 minutes, William?
19 plus injury time right now. Liam
Could
Smith
be 30 then. Well, not in this game.
No. Well, so far there's not been any controversy. No, obviously VAR's been used all the time, but there's been no call for it so far as Clarkson comes forward. The edge of the box, heavy touch, looking to poke it through to Miovski, cut out by Graham. Here's Ramadani, he's encouraged to shoot, he does, but it's a comfortable take for Birigiti. Might taking a touch in its way through there, it was a low effort, which was arrowed towards the bottom left. Birigiti has it though, and he bowls it to McGrath. McGrath with the pass forward, it's gone straight to Kennedy though. Kennedy fancies his chances away from 2, can't get away from Graham, who has the ball for United, plays it to the right of the centre circle for Harks, and he goes back to Levitt. Levitt's such an assured player, and he's found Smith. Freeman to his right again, here come United, Smith wants it back. Freeman delayed though. Smith got himself into a really good position there ahead of Kieran Freeman. It's now with Levitt though, his pass forward cut out by Barron, who hasn't been as influential as he was during Aberdeen's attempted comeback against Livingston on Tuesday evening. There's 18 minutes to play, 1-0 Aberdeen, and it is a fragile lead right now, as McGrath is challenged by Ramadani, who wins it back, but Miovski gives it away straight to Edwards. It's a looping high ball, it's poor, goes right through to Roos and stays Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0.
Poor from both teams there, giving the ball. McGrath gives the ball away straight back to, I think it was maybe Conor Barr, and then it was maybe Leighton Clarkson actually, and then he gives it straight to Edwards. Edwards just plays it through the keeper, so a bit of poor play there. But the game has livened up a little bit. It's got to, Dundee United have got to push for this equaliser. They've got to be a little more bolder. Aberdeen, the next 10 minutes is going to be really important for them. You see how they just deal with this little bit of pressure and see if they can come through it, and maybe obviously catch Dundee United in a counter-attack.
United clearing their lines, long ball up towards Fletcher. A foul by Fletcher, he was facing the other way, to be fair to him. Scales went down, free kick Aberdeen over on the far side.
Scales just falls over and Stephen Fletcher trips over his legs. It's not a free kick. I think it's assistant referee that's given it over on that side, but
ball back to the goalkeeper, chased by Sadad Anaku, cleared by Roos into the United half, comes off the head of Edwards, comes off the head of Stewart, flicked on by Miovski, and it's straight to Ryan Edwards again.
It's turning into a game a little similar to the Hibs game, where Aberdeen have lost control of it, lost possession, although Aberdeen haven't looked as dangerous on the break or as dangerous when they get in the final third. But you know, the team that are bossing it are United. United have got control of this game at this moment in time. Of course, the thing that's against them is that they're a goal down.
Giti playing it short out to the far side. Possession is pretty close to 50-50. Stephen Fletcher with a lovely touch for Freeman. He wants it back. He's bursting into the Aberdeen box. Freeman's pass is cut out. Scales will prevent the corner, at least try to. It's been kept alive though by Anaku. Out to Freeman, who crosses in. Is that going behind for the corner? The flag's waving on the far side. Has it come off a hand? I think it's going to be a United ball. Either way, free kick or corner. If it's a free kick, it's as good as a corner over on the far side. Must have come off the arm.
Yeah, I think the assistant was waving his flag in the air. If it was just a corner, he would just point to the corner spot, wouldn't he?
Excellent piece of build-up though there, Willie. Again, right from the back, William Smith actually comes into Stephen Fletcher, goes round the corner to Kieran Freeman, and it just flows really well. Dundee United on the attack down the right-hand side, and their fans down in that right-hand corner, Willie, are really getting behind them now.
Yeah, I think there's about 1,900 Dundee United supporters amongst the more than 17,000 inside the stadium this evening. Fabulous attendance this Saturday evening. Heading towards the final 15. In comes the free kick, headed away by Miovski. It's a good defensive header by the big Aberdeen striker. It's now with Levitt under pressure from Duke, twisting and turning away from him. Duke staying with him, but Levitt's done brilliantly into the midfield for Harks. Harks with space to operate in. Out wide right it goes for Jamie McGrath. He's over on that far side, elects to play it safe. Back to Smith, right of the centre circle. The Aberdeen fans, I think, want their team to try and close United down quickly as the cross ball comes in and Akukan controls with Graham, and it's tipped over the bar by Roos from distance from the big number 6. He's about level with the edge of the D's. He smashed it with the left foot in the volley. Roos tips it over. Might have been going over anyway. The Aberdeen keeper didn't know that though. United corner.
Yeah, Dylan Levitt whips the ball into really low. I think he's got a little bit of an issue here at the moment, Dylan Levitt. He's kind of hobbling about a little bit, but he whips that ball in. Sadat Anaku kind of lays it off. Ross Graham, he's on a side volley kind of thing, and he just lets fly, and it's good little tip over by Cruz in the goal.
76 on the clock. Corner to United, right in front of the Pittodrie tunnel off to our left. As United attack the beach end in the second half. Aberdeen are going to make changes soon, but United are going to take a corner even sooner. In swinger, blasted into the near post, headed away by one of the smallest players in the pitch in Connor Barron, and then the clearance completed by Kennedy, and out for a throw-in to United on this near side.
It's a real struggle for Aberdeen, isn't it? I mean, they've lost control of the game completely in the second half. You know, United have bossed it, and they've played some wonderful football, some very slick football as well. Haven't created too many opportunities. I think there's another chance.
Anaku 1-2 with McGrath. Good slight challenge, Stewart. Here's BH though, left-footed bending ball into the Aberdeen box. Fletcher claiming he was pushed by Coulson inside the area, but it's a touch from Harks which takes it out for an Aberdeen throw, and a bit of respite for the Dons. They're going to make a double change. Marley Watkins and Jack McKenzie are going to come on for them in just a moment. Aberdeen throw in though deep inside their own half. They lead 1-0. There's 13 minutes of the 90 to play, but they've been under the cosh for large spells of the second half.
There's a threat down Aberdeen left-hand side. You know, Coulson, good going forward. I think he's run out of legs, to be perfectly honest. He's been pushed back by Freeman. I think McKenzie will come on and he'll be asked to be the more defensive-minded wing back, which he is. You know, as a young player, he's got good strength, but he can play there, or he can play in one as well as a centre back. And I would imagine that Coulson, is it Coulson that's coming off?
Yeah. It is, yeah. And there'll be another change for Aberdeen. Coulson being told not to run over to the halfway line. Miovski's the other player who's coming off. The man who right now, it's the only goal of the game, came from the penalty spot. Bojan Miovski being told to hurry up by Willie Collum as he enjoys the acclaim from the Aberdeen supporters. 12 for the season now for Miovski, and he'll be replaced by Watkins.
Yeah, they've got to try and get a bit of control. There's no point in having two up top. You know, if you've no control of the midfield. Aberdeen have lost any control that they had in the second half. Watkins will go in there. Listen, just leave Duke up top.
I won't be surprised if Watkins just sits on the back. Oh, he's just jogged over. If his instructions are to sit on the back of Dylan Levitt, you know, because Levitt's been trying to control the game now. He's been getting on the ball. He's looked really sharp.
And the thing is, just leave Duke up top, you know, and if you're in any doubt at all, just turn it over the top, because, you know, he is a willing runner, and in a foot race he's going to win it.
United coming forward again, but that's a foul by Smith on Clarkson. It's not something that the Dundee United supporters over there agree with en masse.
Kind of just came together, you know, they're forcing them down that right hand side again. Smith, to be fair, he's beginning up the park. You said, Liam, he's making runs forward. That's his natural. You know, he's a right wing back or a right back. He loves to get forward, Liam. I've worked him with Rovers as well, and that's his more natural, you know, position. He's not a right centre half for me. He's doing a job here for Dundee United at the moment, but you know, if Liam Smith can get himself up the park alongside Kieran Freeman, you know, you've got more of a chance of getting some more balls in the box.
You see it now and again, don't you? See with Kieran Tierney with the national team, for example, wants to be playing at left back, left wing back, but he does a good job at left centre back, and you see Tierney getting forward plenty as well when he does play that role for Scotland.
You should be able to, because when he goes up, you've still got Ross Graham, you've still got Ryan Edwards to probably go against one, which will be Duke, and also you've got Dylan Levitt in that sort of deeper centre mid role.
10 to play of the 90. Watkins' pass comes off Willie Collum, uncontested drop ball forthcoming. We're about to tick into the final 10 minutes here. Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0. United will feel extremely aggrieved if they leave Pittodrie tonight, make the short journey, the hour journey back down to the city of Discovery empty-handed. Here's Ramadani for Aberdeen, squaring it for McCrory. 80 on the clock. Here's Kennedy. Back to McCrory. He elects to go back into his own half for Stewart. The Aberdeen supporters want the ball going forward there. They just invited the United players into their own half there. It was back to Scales in the left, long ball. Clarkson misunderstanding with Mackenzie, who's just on, and it was behind him and out for a United throw-in over on the far side.
Aberdeen supporters getting a bit frustrated. Well, I think their manager would be quite happy if they keep the ball for a little bit. You know, take a little bit of the sting out of the game, take a bit of the sting out of Dundee United's attack, and just hold on to the ball and create, you know, have some possession. Mark Berregetti nearly got into trouble there.
He's taking way too long, you know, with possession. He's looking for some options. He's having a go now to Ross Graham, isn't he, for not coming back, but he should have dealt with that much more efficiently and quickly. But again, to the fans have been used to goals here, they've been used to excitement, they haven't had it so far in this game, you know. But the most important thing, and I'm sure Jim Goodwin will say that after the game, if it is a victory.
Here goes Kennedy, pulls it back, Duke's in the box, across the face, along the 6-yard line. Why is he not had a shot at goal there? It's cleared by United. Fletcher flicks on, looking for Anaku. Scales is the covering player for Aberdeen. Over on the far side, he's lost it to Freeman though, in the Aberdeen half. Freeman pokes it forward to Anaku. I think the problem for the Aberdeen fans is they haven't seen their team close out 1-0 victories too often in recent times. They don't often keep clean sheets, and that will be on United minds, I would have thought, going into the final 8 minutes now. Peter Pollitt, once of this parish, once worshipped in this parish, is waiting to come on for United. Here come the visitors with Smith over on the far side. Out to the touchline for Freeman. Back to Harks. Back into the centre circle for Edwards. Again, everyone bar Birigitti's in the Aberdeen half. It's with Levitt. Infield to Graham. And then he passes it to Edwards. Through, he's managed to get it to Smith. Slight challenge from Stewart, but it breaks Fletcher's way at the edge of the box. Goes down. Willie Collum having a right long look at it. And he's given Dundee United a free kick right on the edge of the Aberdeen box to the right of the D. Is this the chance for the Terrors?
Well, it's the correct decision. We saw an excellent pass through from Ryan Edwards. He zips it right into, I think it was Sadat Anaku. He gives it to, it was William Smith, who then passes it on to Fletcher, and he just got a little bit, you know, he took a touch to the side trying to open up the shot, and I think it was just a trailing leg. And Willie Collum's correct, he's given a free kick, and we're looking at Jamie McGrath because he scored an absolutely wonderful free kick against Kilmarnock on Wednesday night, and if he can do it, let's see if he can do the same here again.
That is fresh in everyone's mind in Tangerine.
It's about the same distance, William. It's maybe a little bit closer than he would like to get it up and down. Sometimes you like it a little bit further out. He's probably sitting about 20 yards out at the moment on the right hand side.
They've got a man lying on the deck here behind the wall. I think it's Duke.
Looks like Fletcher's going to hit it though, what?
Yep.
Well, Fletcher and McGrath over this. Fletcher gets it back from McGrath and he puts it weakly, tamely straight into the wall. That's such an anti-climb. for the United supporters over there. Here's Dylan Levitt. Why on earth, after what McGrath did against Kilmarnock the other night, have they not just tried to repeat the trick?
Well, maybe because it was on the right hand side with the right foot, or that's the only reason I can see it. I'd be, if I was Jamie McGrath, I'm saying I'm hot, give me the ball, I'm going to put this in the top corner again.
It was such a weak effort though, wasn't it, from a very promising situation. He just blasted it into the wall, not good enough.
Just over 6 to play. Aberdeen still leading 1-0 as Peter Pollock comes on to replace Jamie McGrath. And Pollock, he actually almost scored in the 4-0 win. It was nearly 5 for United that night. Pollock booed roundly by the Aberdeen support. He's a League Cup winner, albeit he didn't play in the game, but he was a massive hero for them in that semi-final against St Johnstone. Those 2 games against St Johnstone at Tynecastle in the League Cup semi-final, and then against Celtic in the Scottish Cup that season, were probably his 2 finest displays in Aberdeen red. But it doesn't matter. He's playing for one of their big rivals here as he's booed onto the pitch.
He's an excellent player, and it's good to see him back on, because I know the troubles he's had with that Achilles. It's been a real trouble for him, and it's good to see somebody like that coming back after an injury that's just played him for so many seasons.
Yeah, he was injured for that League Cup final.
He's always had issues, Peter. Throughout his development, he had issues. I think you find that when they're finally honed and they're quick and they're fast. I think it affects players like that much more than the centre back type player.
Yeah, here's United. Anaku into the Aberdeen box, cleared by Stewart. Still all Dundee United here. We're in the final 5 minutes. Ryan Duncan, one of the more recent academy graduates for Aberdeen, is going to be on in just a moment. But 85 on the clock. Dundee United are running out of time in a game they absolutely deserve something out of. Aberdeen will try and close out the victory and just dust themselves down and then forget about the game, knowing they've got the 3 points, but they've still got a lot of work to do by the looks of this. As Smith plays it back to Edwards into the centre circle. United have had more possession than Aberdeen. We're in about 52-53% of it now as Pollock gets his first touch and plays it back to Graham, who moves it left to right of the circle for the very impressive Dylan Levitt. Right foot ball forward, he's found Smith. Right hand side of the Aberdeen box, marshalled by Barron, then comes the cross, cut out by Barron. United corner, Liam Smith urging the supporters to stay with the team here. Vicente Bazoun will be on for Aberdeen shortly, but they've got to face another Dundee United corner.
Yeah, it's different questions that's been asked now, and Aberdeen's answer to the question is to defend. They've defended basically all the second half, and they've held out so far.
In comes the corner kick. It's headed away by Watkins. Does add some height to things. Levitt's going to pick it up unchallenged, though. On the far side you can hear the angst from the Aberdeen supporters around us. Long ball, Freeman into the box. It's helped into the area, almost get through to Anaku. Stewart gets it away. Watkins now finds Duke, gets it into his feet, driving across halfway. It is Duke, he can slip it to his left for Kennedy. Kennedy's in, chance to seal the game for Aberdeen. It's Kennedy, it's over the bar. He looks to the heavens, he can't believe he's not scored and sealed the 3 points. This game's still alive. It's Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0. 3 minutes of the 90 to play as Aberdeen make a double change. Bazoun and Duncan will come on. What a chance for Kennedy.
What an opportunity for Matty Kennedy. It's another counter-attack. You're talking about your strong running, Duke's running. Ian Harris is trying to get back. He's actually trying to foul him. He's trying to foul him because he knows that it's a counter-attack. He knows that there's danger. He can't do it because he's got the strength. Duke's got the strength. He plays it into Matty Kennedy. He takes a touch forward, and it seems that he gets the ball under his feet, somehow lifts it over the bar instead of just being more positive with his finish. I was thinking that ball was going to end up in the far corner.
The thing is, Birighitti goes down, doesn't he, as well? He goes down early, so all you have to do really is get a little bit of height on it and hit the target, and it nestles in the back of the net and he puts it way over the bar. But again, you see Duke, you see his strength.
I'll just do the subs, sorry, quickly, guys. No Clarkson and Duke have come off. Duncan and Bazoun have come on.
I just felt that Kennedy needed the strike. He didn't catch it at all, did he? Well, no. He's got underneath it. It's kind of like a chip on the run. You just want him to have a really clean strike at goal there.
There was no confidence there, was there? You know, the body language kind of tells you too. He wasn't onto it sharp and head over it and striking for target.
United come forward again, but McCrory's there to get it clear. Ross Graham's not a great touch, back facing his own goal, but Watkins wasn't onto it. Graham goes back to Birighitti. There's 90 seconds of the 90 minutes left to play at Pittodrie. 1-0 Aberdeen. Peter Pollitt for United. In his own half though. Moves it to Graham. He'll go back to Pollitt. Pollitt picks up, moves towards halfway, rolls it to his left for Levitt. He finds Graham. He's going to leave it for Levitt actually, so Levitt's passed to himself. Now it's with Graham again, just across halfway. Angled ball, looking for Fletcher. Scales jumped well, but it's going to be collected by Smith. United have looked dangerous down that right-hand side in the second half. Kieran Freeman has it. Rolls it back the way. We're in minute 90 here. 1-0 Aberdeen. Edwards with a cross ball. Headed away by Barron. It's all hands to the pump for the Dons right now. United looking for an equaliser. We'll find out what the injury time's going to be shortly. There's been no VAR problems this evening. No VAR-related delays. So purely down to the subs, probably about 3 or 4 minutes. So Levitt moves it back into his own half for Edwards. Do United have another chance in them? They've fashioned a few in the second half. Here's Harks. Low ball forwards, going straight to Stewart, to wallops it up high into the air, into the United half. Pizown will give chase. Levitt's there though, and he heads it back to Birighitti. He'll try and get United going again quickly. Injury time is coming up. About 10 seconds of the 90 to play now. It's with Pollitt just inside his own half. Barron for company. 2 minutes only added on at the end. That won't go down well with those in Tangerine.
No. I think you would take that if you're an Aberdeen supporter or manager.
Smith with the long ball into the Aberdeen box, but Kellaroos jumps up, clutches the ball and drops to the turf. And it's Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0. The Dons have a player down. Ross McCrory inside his own 6-yard area. Aberdeen haven't won too many games 1-0, Willie, in recent times. It's the old Derek McInnes classic scoreline when he was the manager here.
Yeah, I mean, the second half, I think if Derek was still in charge, then they would be walking out, to be perfectly honest, you know, because it has been a retreat, hasn't it? It's been domination by Dundee United, who played extremely well. They'll be bitterly disappointed that they haven't taken anything from the game. But the most important thing is getting the points, isn't it? I'm sure Jim Goodwin will say that. The fans are there's a little bit unrest within the fans, but they'll go home. I'm sure they'll be applauding the players at the end of this game if 3 points are achieved.
Archie Meekison's come on for United. Surely now, no matter what happens in the last minute of injury time, Aberdeen will be third going into the World Cup break. A point does them as far as that's concerned. They'll want all three and have a little bit of daylight at the top there as they go into that month-long break. Here come United. Meekison with the ball to the edge of the box, thumped clear by McCrory. There's only about 40-odd seconds of the allotted 2 minutes that were added on at the end.
Dundee United have had so much possession this second half, and yes, they've had a couple of half chances. I don't think they've asked, you know, Roos to do enough in the Aberdeen goal. That's my only, you know, thought about that, because in terms of the controlling the game, they have done. It's just in that final third, yes, they've put a few good balls in the box, but how many saves has Kellaroos had to make?
No, absolutely.
The one from Ross Graham from distance. Aberdeen were suckered late on in Dingwall when they were in a 1-0 leading position in injury time. Here come United forward. We've got about 5 seconds left. There was that change by United, which might add on a little bit. Throw in Aberdeen though, midway inside their own half over on that far side. So that's the 2 minutes of injury time come and gone. Some United supporters beginning to head up the steps in the south stand. But Aberdeen are so close now to a victory. And when you win games, it doesn't matter how you win them. Willie Collum has a look at his watch as the throw-in's taken, it's flicked on. Aberdeen asking why this game's still underway, and there's the full-time whistle now. Aberdeen win! Just before the World Cup break, they will sit third in the top flight. And they've had to work for this one. And Dundee United will be scratching their heads and wondering why they're not taking something back down to the City of Discovery this evening. An excellent second half performance by the visitors, yields nothing. They didn't, as Craig Easton was saying, test Kellaroos often enough, and they've paid the price. Aberdeen win the game thanks to a Bojan Miovski penalty in 37 minutes after Birighitti brought Duke crashing to the ground. It was a decisive penalty as he sent the Aussie the wrong way and put Aberdeen in front. Duke should have scored a second not too long after that, before the half-time break, as he lobbed Birighitti, but he missed the target. but he hasn't paid a price for it because United could not find the equaliser. Middleton went closest for them in the first half with a deflected shot. Stephen Fletcher had a hat-trick of chances, the best of which was a header, which he put straight at the Dons keeper, before Ross Graham tested Roos from distance, tipping over his crossbar. There was a real chance for Matty Kennedy to stop the nervy end Aberdeen, and their supporters endured in the end when Kennedy raced in the left-hand side of the box and blazed a shot over Birigitti's crossbar. The United players, they look downtrodden as they troop off the Pittodrie pitch. The Aberdeen players go to take their claim from their fans. United stay rock bottom of the Premiership, going into a lengthy shutdown now, relatively speaking. They're going to have to stew on the fact that they are 12th out of 12 in the Premiership right now. At least for them, there's still plenty time and plenty games to turn that around. Aberdeen have an opposite problem. They sit third in the Premiership after this one. A really, really important win for them, and a rare clean sheet for them as well. It puts them a couple of points clear of Livingston. They're 4 clear of Hearts and St Johnstone and St Mirren, and a point more ahead of Hibernian. They're in a decent position, and they'll want to maintain that in the second half of the campaign, sitting 8 points behind Rangers in second. It finished here at Pittodrie as the Premiership goes into hibernation. Aberdeen 1, Dundee United 0.
Aberdeen versus Dundee United.
The Scottish Premiership.